Get all your residential concrete projects done the right way with the most trusted company in town. Serving Lorain County and surrounding areas, Affordable Concrete Solutions is here for all your concrete needs. Providing concrete maintenance, washing, and sealing, decorative stamped concrete, driveway and sidewalk concrete removal, concrete flat work, and much more. We pride ourselves in offering the best concrete services possible and are backed by years of experience and a history of excellent service. It's our ultimate goal to provide each and every client with the highest quality of workmanship, professionalism, and efficiency while emphasizing exceptional customer service. We design, install, and maintain all concrete. Whatever your concrete needs, let ACS be your answer. Contact us today for your free estimate.
Joe Thomas is going into the Hall of Fame.
And finally, football is back tomorrow, Browns and Jets.
Guardians made some moves at the deadline. Were they good or bad? You be the judge. All that and more tonight on The Hall with Talking About Balls.
Cleveland! This is for you!
Talking about balls.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talking About Balls. I am Justin George, joined as always by Kyle Price and Timbuktu. Please excuse me, I'm going to adjust my mic here. Gentlemen, how are we?
Excuse me while I whip this out. Oh, sorry, wrong show. I'm good, man. Kind of in the mood today, though, but glad to be back. It's been 2 weeks. So miss you guys.
It's been a long 2 weeks. What's happened? It feels like we've been away for a month, if I'm being honest. How about you, Tim? How you doing?
I'm excellent.
That's what I like to hear. So we are back. We are live. We are ready to roll. Interesting couple of weeks in everyone's lives, I think. Had a lot going on. The wife had her, she turned 35.
Old bitch.
She's super old now. She had her 35th birthday.
I remember when I was 35. Man, those were the good old days.
I didn't know Tara was a cougar.
Yeah, she was robbing the cradle for sure.
Cougar. She's young.
I know.
Yeah, compared to Kyle, she's extremely young. But yeah, no. Interesting couple of weeks. The day after our show last time, 2 weeks ago, we had that horrible storm. My basement flooded like a son of a bitch. I had almost a foot of water. The cleanup was fucking awful, grueling, tiresome. But it is what it is. There ain't no quitting these hands. So I had to keep going and clean everything and carry shit and getting back one day at a time.
I almost, when I saw because we were at the concert in Blossom that night.
I
saw your post online, or Tara's post. I was like, oh, why are they repeating the same photo from like 2 years ago? That's cool. Just rehashing memories, I guess. And then I'm like, oh shit, that's right now.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck. But that's unfortunate, man. Hopefully it doesn't happen. Are you going to put the backflow thing in?
That or move. Whichever comes first, because that backflow thing's not going to be cheap. I believe last time we looked into it, we were quoted at I want to say $3,000 or $4,000, and that was in 2020. So now we are in, everything's expensive as fuck. So I'm expecting it to be probably $5,000 to $7,000 at least.
Start digging it up yourself. It's fine.
However, the one thing though is my neighbor, the older woman on the left, she got one of those put in after the last time everyone flooded in Brook Park.
Yeah.
And I talked to her after the flood and I said, how did you do? And she goes, nothing, bone dry down there.
Damn it.
So that's what makes me think, which great for her. But I feel like because hers was blocking it, that means more got pushed to me and the other people next to her because we got fucked. Like it was bad.
I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, it sucked. It's all good.
Did Mike have his bone dry too?
No, his flooded. He does not have a backflow preventer
so
either.
You guys both got the shit end of the stick, literally, because it must flow.
I know it's coming, and I'm excited for this. Hug cam. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen.
First scene here and Talking About Balls.
Brand new for the show. The hug cam.
The hug cam. It's new. We talked about it. We voted it in existence. It's now officially part of the team.
Were you able to share the show? Interruption really quick?
I did.
Okay. I'm blocked right now. Every time I try to share it says I can't share.
Damn, so you're a spammer now.
I got graped.
That's right, Hugcam. You got graped.
Grape gets banned all the time from sharing, so I got the official block from Facebook.
I have not gotten. I shared all the normal posts. I share it to my personal page, and that's so yeah, nothing.
And
issues
you know
there.
what? That's why I want everyone, as we talked about today, if you saw my Facebook
Good
page,
transition.
go to YouTube. We want these views on YouTube. Facebook can eat the biggest bag of dicks. Mark Zuckerberg, you fuck. Go to YouTube. Watch us on YouTube, whether that's the Redline channel. We'll be going live with Talking About Balls. You can look us up on YouTube. We have our own page now. Go there if you want. Not tonight, but go to Redline right now. I forgot the exact name of the page. Maybe Tim can help me out. Redline Media, I think.
Redline Media Group.
Redline Media Group. Go there today. Watch the show because that's what I'm going to be doing right now. Because again, Facebook can eat the largest bag of cocks. Just ridiculous. Why am I banned from sharing a show that's a video podcast in a group designed for you to share your podcast? I'm being banned for that. The fuck? What sense does that make? Don't understand it. Don't get it. Again, fuck them.
I'm about to switch cameras.
Which one are we going to? The underwear camera. It's
Yeah, we have-
under the table one.
Hug cam, tug cam, we got them all.
It's just spazzing a little.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. Tug cam.
Tug cam. In honor of Deshaun Watson and the Brown season
I
starting
like
tomorrow,
this.
technically.
I like this. So, how's your golf game going? Getting better?
Yeah, actually, surprisingly, probably not a good brag for most of you at home, but I've played 18 twice now in my life. First time I did 18, I just shot a 135. On Sunday, 125. So I
Progress.
took 10 strokes off.
Sounds like a good night to me. 10
I'm about to say
strokes.
that sounds like a tug cam.
Yeah, that's a transition. I feel like my hat is crooked as fuck. I can't get it to be straight. It looks
Yeah,
weird as fuck on
Me,
this
you just
camera.
made it more crooked.
And me not
Is it-
wearing a hat.
Is it me or
seems
the
weird.
camera? I don't understand. Whatever.
That's good though. That's good. 125. So that's good.
Yeah, no, I'm getting better. I missed 59 on the back nine by one stroke. I got a 60 on the back nine.
But you parred a hole, right?
I did, yeah.
Big one. Was it a short par? Like, did you put it up there close and you just tapped it in for
Oh, it was a
par?
par three. I was probably 10 to 15 yards away from the cup, and I two-putted it in.
Nice.
So not bad at all. Yeah, Don P said the same thing. He got blocked for a week after he did his first show. Normally, I don't have any trouble. I've yet to have an issue sharing my show. I don't spam anything. I don't abuse it. I just, once my show is live, share. Done.
Yeah, I just share it to all the normal ones and then I share it to my page and move on. So that's weird.
It's very weird.
So I guess we're not going to get any views tonight now because you're blocked from sharing.
Not looking good.
Son of
Oh, you know why I can't find it? I'm on the wrong page here. Let me switch my YouTube account. Speaking of YouTube, a quick shout out to that guy Dub. His show can be seen on Thursdays here at Redline Radio from 2:30 to 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. I'm sorry. And I don't know when it's going to air just yet, but he was gracious enough to have me as a guest. And I did my interview with him on Sunday. It was a great episode. I had a really good time talking to him.
Yeah, when's it air?
Not sure. He's going to let me know. He says he likes to get like episodes 5 or 6 weeks in advance and then just kind of play it by ear by what's happening
Promote
and
'em
like
and then
when
put
to
'em
put it
out.
out there. Yeah.
I
So
like that. Nice.
I will be on his show in a couple of weeks, hopefully. And I'll let everybody know. I'm very excited for that.
I think our camera's haunted tonight.
We're having some issues with it. What's wrong with it? The middle one's having some issues? Okay. Don't like that.
Take 2 weeks off and see what happens.
You know, that's the thing is you take 2 weeks off and you think you're going to come back to progress. You would think the station owners would be here fixing everything and making sure everything's up to par when the good shows go on, the great shows that represent Redline Radio, when they're here live, putting in their hard work, doing a great, great job at entertaining their audience. And we come into what? We come into internet not working. We come into cameras not working. We come into no ad read sheets. We come into just fucking the bare minimum. We got to do all the work ourselves. I'm starting to think next month we do our show fees, I'm going to Cash App it to myself because we do all the fucking work.
You can cash it after the
Tim
week.
gets a cut for sure. I meant to say that. I forgot that part. We will do 10% to 20% to Tim. I love Tim. And the rest just comes right back to us because we're the bread and butter. We're doing everything.
Yeah, I came in hot and heavy today. I'm trying to bite the tongue, trying to be nice and calm here. Just trying to.
But you get to a point where how much is too much.
Yeah, I think we're past that point right now.
I personally can vouch that I have specifically requested for a brand new ad read sheet for weeks now. And we do the show every other week. So don't make it seem like it's just a couple of weeks. This is months. I've been asking for a brand
And it
new
seems
ad
like
sheet.
we're adding new sponsors every week. It's like, God, it's great. It's a good sponsor. I can't wait to talk about him. Don't know where to tell you to go look
We
for
are.
them though. But
And the best part about it is if you go to the Redline Media Facebook page, you're going to see a nice collage of all of our new sponsors. However, you can't read half of them because they don't understand how you crop a photo into a collage.
However, we perfected it. We've already practiced.
We were able to Google everything. We found the ads. We were able to get their information. We're ready to roll because again,
That's what
we're
we
the
do.
professionals. We do all the work.
Wow, that was a hard camera change. Now I look whiter than I've ever been in my entire life, Tim.
I am Casper.
Tim, you probably look white in this camera if you came over here right now. Just throwing it out there.
Is August White History Month? And I was
Holy
unaware.
I feel like
In
my,
White History
White
Month?
History Month.
I feel
Tim, of
like
all
my
the months.
face is like a giant fucking baseball with some hair on top of it right now.
I got a little sun from golfing the other day, so I feel like I don't look as pale.
Do you wear a hat when you golf, right?
Mhm.
So do you drive the golf cart or do you?
I usually have Tara drive it.
Okay. So I always, because I try to drive all the time. I always get the suntan on the left arm,
Mhm.
suntan on the left knee, and then I always get like sun like right here. 'Cause
Okay, so-
I always wear sunglasses. So
The second, I mean, I'm not a great golfer, so I'm out of the cart a lot.
okay,
And if I have a bad shot, I'm the type of person that
To
I'm
walk it off.
I'm irritated if I hit it. If I like fuck up an iron shot, I'm like, I'll walk and I just hold my
the
club and I
walk
walk
of
up to it.
anger. I know that
I
all
do
too
it
well.
all the time. That was my biggest issue on Sunday from golfing was my irons. I had a rough time with them. My driver was okay. I had a couple flubs, but overall I wasn't too upset with my driving.
Yeah.
It was more so my hitting with my irons. Had a few decent hits with I saw that, Steve. Sammy Sosa still whiter.
That's also true. I saw that recent photo of him. My God,
That's why Kyle was running a little late today. He was getting the Michael Jackson, Sammy Sosa treatment. He's got that
Michael
himself.
Jackson's skincare routine down pretty well right now.
But I did hit with my hybrids or
You-
woods,
Are you getting
whatever.
better with them?
I actually had some really good shots with them.
More confident with them,
Yeah.
right?
Is that the stiff shaft or the flex staff?
It's a flex shaft, and it's the one that looks like the mini driver. Like
Yep.
it's got the driver head, but it's a little smaller.
Which what
I use the
hybrid?
three wood.
The 3-wood.
Yeah.
So 3-wood is one of my favorite clubs in the bag. It's always usually my second shot, depending on the hole I'm playing.
Mhm.
So if I'm playing a par, like a long par 4 or par 5, I'm always taking the 3-wood the next shot because
Yeah.
I'm more comfortable with that, right?
So for me, the thing that Tara taught me was you really only want to use it if you're in the fairway.
Mhm.
If you're in the rough, you don't want to use your hybrid because it's harder to hit. So I'm usually I wouldn't say the rough, but I'm in like some thicker grass because a lot of times for whatever reason, what happens a lot for me is I top my drives.
Mhm.
So they just fucking dribble out. And I then have to hit out of some tall grass to get onto the fairway. And there was one hole where I think it was a par 3. I fucked up my initial shot. Or no, it wasn't a par 3 because I would have used my iron off the tee. And I'm actually pretty good with my iron off the tee. But I flubbed my drive and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. That was a bad start. Let me just use the hybrid. Let me just see how it goes. I'm
Yeah.
here to practice. Let's go. And I fucking crushed it. And it went right next to the green.
Yeah.
It was off a little bit, but it went next to the green. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, I like that.
The 5 hybrid. I have a 5 hybrid. I have a 3 hybrid. 5 hybrid and a 4 hybrid. Those are my two favorite ones to use. Depending. Sometimes I'll soft swing one. Sometimes I'll
Mhm.
full swing one. I just feel more confident. I just have
Yeah.
not gotten better at the iron shot because because irons you're supposed to hit basically past the ball, right?
Yeah.
So you want to hit hard down into the ball, and I'm just not great at that yet.
No, absolutely. I know the feeling.
I'm used to swinging up like a driver hit, right?
Mhm.
So that's why I use the hybrids a lot more because you're hitting up to it. So I'm just more comfortable with it. So
I'm just very inconsistent with all my clubs, but that's just lack of. I mean, I've golfed now. That was my 5th time ever golfing on a course, so I'm getting better. Again, I've shot a 60 the last 2 times I've gone out on 9 at least, so that's somewhat consistent. I'll take that.
Tara golfed well at our last MGA event. She did well.
Yeah, she told me she was actually the top woman, I think.
She was the top woman.
And on Sunday, she got an 80 something, 87. I forgot
Really?
what, but she got into the 80s for the first time. She was really happy about
Hell
herself.
yeah.
She did hit off the women's tees though,
Well, of course.
because
There's the asterisk.
we were with
now
our
you're
friend.
now you're starting to sound like your dad.
We were with our friend and his wife. No, because that's Tara's big thing is she'll hit off the men's tees and loves to brag about that. But then she has her best round ever and she hits off the ladies' tees. I'm just saying, there's an asterisk next to it. She is a lady, so she should be hitting off the ladies' tee. But I'm just saying. But yeah, no. How about you? Have you golfed recently? I'm sure you have.
So I did the MGA event with your wife 2 weeks ago. Last weekend we went to Forest Hills over in Elyria. It's like a country club type. Basically, it's not a country club, but it's like a Metro Parks course.
By the way, sorry to interrupt. I was so fucking sad that day you guys were golfing because that was 2 days after we flooded.
Oh,
So I'm home cleaning our house.
yeah.
sweating my ass off, carrying things out, cleaning, just fucking inhaling chemicals and bleach all day. And Tara's fucking, she's golfing.
She
at a
said
nice
you were.
course.
She said you were hell.
Matt, let's do it, dude. I'm a fucking pro now. They call me the golf god. I'm stealing that nickname from who is it? Jose?
No, it's Robert. You're gonna have to fight
Robert.
him.
My bad.
So we went to Forest Hills last Saturday. So
A little wet.
right after one of the
It
storms
looks
came
like a
through.
swamp.
Yeah,
Wait, that's all water there.
that's all water.
That's the cart path.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Holy
it wasn't
shit.
great. So it was cart path only, clearly, right?
Yeah.
So we played. I mean, the course was in good shape for what it was, but you get some of the holes that are like that.
So we actually ran into the same situation at Big Met. We went to Big Met on Sunday, and
You
they
like
were.
Big Met? I've never been a fan of Big Met course. Just
Personally,
because of how it's
it's-
designed.
I loved it. It was my favorite course I've played on so far.
Really
I really enjoyed it.
interesting. Yeah, no, I mean, so
What don't you like about it?
I don't like the design. It just, to me, it's just too wide open. And
See, I love that. I love that. As a beginner, it's just a fun one to go knock out 18.
And
like,
the last time I was there, like the greens weren't kept up very well. It just,
okay, so when I was there, everything was pretty
was
good.
it good? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Just to me, it's like one of those courses where I'll pay. I have no problem paying like maybe $25, $30 a golf.
Yeah, this was about $45
That's
for
insane.
18.
That is insane to me.
I think because I paid for Tara and myself, and it was about $90 for the two of us.
Yeah, we're going to. I'm golfing Saturday at Brentwood, which is out in Grafton, which is a $30 course, but it's in good shape. But
Mhm.
it's only a $30 course, right? So you know what you're getting when you go on there.
Yeah,
But like a $45, $50 course, you're thinking it's gonna be a little bit more top notch, a little
And-
more design layout to it. But
and that's kind of my worry with. That's why I texted you last night. I asked you if you knew what golf course we're going to for our friend's bachelor party. So next weekend, Kyle and myself, we're going to be in like the Akron area.
Navarre, Ohio. to be
Yeah, so they
exact.
have they rented a huge house. It's my friend's bachelor party weekend. We're gonna all be there.
It's like a Will Smith house.
It's gonna be a
Yeah.
huge sausage fest, just which it should be for a bachelor party. I mean, it's all the dudes. We're getting a house, and we're all getting up. Most of us, or a good chunk, are gonna get up Saturday morning and go golfing.
Yeah.
No idea where we're golfing though.
There's two golf courses close to the house that one of them I've golfed in. The other one I've not golfed, but the one I did golf is a very challenging course.
Okay.
So I'm not sure he'd pick that one. There's another one that's out there that's a little easier, it looks like. So I'm assuming he's going to pick that one. I don't know the golf level the people we're going with, though. Like, I don't know who's golfing.
Nor do I, honestly. I know a good chunk of them actually golf a lot because Romer has started getting into it. Friend of show, Dan Rockingham, Dan Romer. You guys have all seen him on here. It's his bachelor party weekend. So we're going out there. A lot of his friends, they're into wrestling and race cars and shit like that. And from what I've been told is a lot of these guys golf all the time.
Really?
So I don't know if that means they're good. There's some people that golf all the time that aren't good. So
Well, I just
could go either way.
I just want to golf with you because it'd be the first time we've ever golfed together.
Yeah.
So
I'm not gonna lie, as a very, very new person, I'll be kind of irritated if we do a fucking hard course. But at the same time, it is what it is. Like
you got to experience it once in a while, though.
exactly. I have no
Just
say in
Bring extra balls just in case.
Yeah.
right?
I always bring extra balls. But no, we'll see how it goes.
But
I'm
other
excited.
highlights real quick. So just to update it's been a good week in the Price household. My wife got a raise.
Very
and
nice. That's what I like to see. Make her start buying
is
shit.
Getting a bonus and stuff like that too. So she is very well appreciated, I guess you could say, at her job, even though she
Good.
works her ass off. Somebody just quit. So actually she does more work now than she was before, but she's well taken care of. So it's been a good. So I'm a couple more raises and she can be the sugar mom in the house. So
Yeah.
I can stay at home.
Steve, absolutely. Let's do it.
What's Steve say? I can't see.
So let's get a Labor Day weekend tea time.
Let's do it.
I'm down, dude.
I have
Let's
a
set it
birthday
up.
party that weekend.
You gotta. It's like a 3-day weekend though. You can
It's
fit
a
some time in.
I don't know. It's a comedy show.
Oh, you do have a busy weekend, then, huh?
Let's golf Monday of Labor Day.
Yeah.
After because Saturday we're doing. I don't know if you're going. If you guys are gonna stop up for a little bit, the Oktoberfest for a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's that weekend up at the fairgrounds. Fuck, dude, this year is flying by. I forgot about that. I'm guessing we will. I don't think we have many plans that weekend. So.
Yeah, I think we're going Saturday up there, and then Sunday we're doing like a cookout, and then Monday I got nothing. So
Okay.
we're off Monday. Maybe we can just go get a quick 18 somewhere.
I'm down with that. I know my friend Joe, Big Joe. He and I we've been discussing playing Edward 40 hands together.
Ooh,
We want to see how that goes. We both think we could drink way more than 40 ounces, so that's not going to be a problem. Or 80 ounces, I should say.
I would hope so.
Yeah, so we're gonna see how that goes. It should be a good weekend. Yeah, getting drunk, Oktoberfest, golfing. Yeah, Steve, we'll definitely talk about that. We'll be in touch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
count me in. Let me know when you guys.
I'm
do it. I'll
guessing
be
if we go to Oktoberfest, it wouldn't be till the evening anyway. So
we could golf in the morning.
So yeah, we could do a morning tea time that Saturday if everyone's free. But we'll figure it out. Just we'll text Steve. I definitely want to do that. I definitely want to golf that weekend for sure.
Tim, are you gonna golf at all with us?
Yeah, I'll go. The
I
cart.
like it.
Tim will
Golf
drive the cart.
Golf the cart.
I love it. don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but Kyle, shout out to Kyle. He's been working behind the scenes to get us a little bit of a
Yes.
quote unquote, hopefully a sponsorship / a remote broadcast. And all I can say, we don't want to give anything away, is that golf is involved
Mhm.
in some aspect. I don't want to spoil anything. So be prepared. If you are a Talking About Balls fan and you are a golfer, we are working on an event where you guys can come hang out with us. We'll do a show and we might be able to swing some clubs. Maybe.
Maybe on some professional courses, as they say too.
Pebble Beach. That's where we're going. I already decided. Kyle and I are going to Pebble Beach.
But yeah, good stuff. We're actually in talks right now, so we're hoping to get something ironed out hopefully in the next month or two, and we'll put more out there once we get it confirmed. But seems promising.
Yeah, and I spoke with our website designer today, and he is working on. He had to send a ticket into the IT department of whoever our new hosting
The
site
internet.
is. But yeah, basically, because he was saying that anyone that goes on Google Chrome was getting the alert of like it's a tainted website.
Every time I do
So
it, it goes there.
he sent a ticket in to hopefully get that resolved ASAP, and then the website's going to be ready to roll. So we're working on it. I know, dude. Steve, you're telling me, man. That's the wedding. My buddy Romer, we're going to his bachelor party next weekend, and then the wedding is the week after. So I'm going to be booked that day, and I'm in the wedding. So I wish I could. If I could, I would try to squeeze a little bit of golf out in the morning, but just ain't going to happen.
Yeah, it's gonna be a busy day.
Very, very much so. So that was my last couple of weeks. It's literally been hell. Because what sucked is we went to Ridgewood. I got 4 holes in, and then they started blowing the horn because it was lightning. So we're like, shit, storm's coming. We got to go home. Started driving home. Rain is just fucking downpouring. Like you could hear the hail beating on Tara's car. Couldn't see more than like a foot in front of the car, if you could even see a foot. And we finally made it home. And we're like, all right, this sucks, but whatever. We're like, let's go down to the basement. Let's kind of prep just in case it floods. But I was like, it shouldn't. It hasn't flooded in a few years. Maybe we're good. So we start lifting shit up, getting everything ready. And then we're standing there and we're like, let's move this. Let's move that. And all of a sudden I look and I'm like, fuck. I'm like, there it is. Water's coming up.
Oh, man.
So we just rolled the rug up really quick, got it lifted. And we fucking went upstairs. And I just sat on the steps for most of the night, just watching the water rise. And I'm like, dude, it's almost to my fucking step.
Yeah.
Like it almost went over my step. Luckily, my friend Dan showed up. Not Romer, different Dan. And he brought one of those pumps that like sucks the water out. And we just ran that hose to the street and just watched it dump the water out.
How long did he have the hose going for?
Oh, we had it going for a while because it took a long time for the drains to open up.
Yeah.
So we just watched like slowly, like a quarter inch here, quarter inch there, water would go down. And then finally I have a shower in my basement and a utility drain. And that's where the water comes up from. And finally those opened up. And that's when all the water went down way faster because those drains obviously sucked it all down. But yeah, what a pain in the ass. And then shout out to Dan, Andrew, Allie, and my father-in-law, Mike, for coming over and helping. Cleaned up, carried stuff with me. It was a nice, fun group process. I think the last person to leave was Tara's dad. He left at about 1 o'clock in the morning. And then I stayed up till about 5 cleaning by myself.
Yeah, you bet you were a little tired the next day.
I went to bed. I woke up at 9 and went right back downstairs to keep cleaning. And then shout out to Tara's family again, her sisters and Gino and her mom and dad came over again and helped clean up stuff with Tara outside while I cleaned up and bleached in the basement. So
yeah, when you showed up Saturday night, you looked tired.
I was exhausted, dude. I was literally on fumes. Like where'd we go? I forgot where we went. We went somewhere. Like we had shit to do. That's the other thing that sucked is we had stuff to do every night of the fucking weekend too. So Friday night we went out for Tara's birthday. Saturday night we went out to dinner for Tara's birthday. And then Sunday we had a party bus for her mom's birthday. And I fucking went home, and on Sunday night after the party bus, I went home and I was asleep by like 8 o'clock at night. I fucking passed out. I drank, but like an average amount for me, and went home and I was just so exhausted. I passed out. I woke up at like midnight and I'm like, what the fuck happened? Like, I don't even remember. I don't remember getting home. I don't remember anything. Like Tara drove, but
Monday must have been great.
I just honestly, I woke up at midnight. I watched a couple episodes of The Righteous Gemstones, and then I went right back to bed at like 1 o'clock. That's how tired I was. And I woke up for work. So I got a great night's sleep that night. But no, I was exhausted that whole weekend, but it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do when you're a homeowner.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one thing I fear is that our house. I mean, luckily our house has our house did flood before we bought it. Like I guess 2 or 3 years before we bought it, it did flood. Like there's actually a record when we bought it of it flooding, and they fixed it and everything. But my internal fear is you've been in my basement. I have a shit ton in my basement. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of stuff. And I'm like, luckily we have concrete floor, right? So
Yeah.
if it did flood, it wouldn't really ruin a lot of stuff because a lot of my stuff's on the walls.
Yep.
But still, if drywall gets wet, you basically have to take the entire drywall section out.
Yeah.
Right? And
So
replace
we have wood paneling, and concrete
Yeah.
on the floor and everything, and our like tiles glue down. So like we were able to clean everything. It was still a pain in the ass, but we were able to clean everything. And after our last flood, we learned our lesson. Like we have nothing on the ground now
Yeah.
that we don't care about, or that we care about. So nothing got ruined really that we cared about. It was more so just like an old hand-me-down shelving unit got wet, and we were like, fuck it, throw it out, put it on the curb.
Do you have any seats down there now, or do you put anything back down?
Yeah,
there?
we got furniture.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got couch and recliner, and I just bought new like covers for them and everything so they can match. And we threw out our old couch. That was the other thing. The water got so fucking high, it got into the cushions and all that. Because our other couch, you saw it,
Yeah.
we had like probably 6-inch legs on it. So I kind of thought like if we ever flood again, it'll hit the legs, wash them, whatever,
It'd
not a
be
big deal.
perfect. Yeah, no problem.
It went into the fucking couch, so we had to throw everything out. But that's life. It is what it is. Not much you can do.
Onward and upward. That's what insurance is for. When you get that,
That's
check.
it. They're coming. What's today? Wednesday. They're coming Friday to come and like give the evaluation. But we told them everything that we did, and they were like, "Yeah, you're going to be getting the max, which I think is like $5,000."
Nice.
So that's that. That's life. It is what it is. You go on, like Kyle said, onward and upward. Here we are. Again, YouTube starting hopefully next time we record, which will be in 2 weeks. We are going to be using. Obviously, we'll be on the Redline YouTube, but we will also be on the Talking About Balls official YouTube page. It is just at Talking About Balls, however you call it. Right now, I've been told it's kind of hard to look it up because we don't have any content on it. So once we start getting shit on there, it should be easier for everyone to find. I did share a link on my Facebook. I shared a link on Instagram right now. I have a link on Talking About Balls Twitter, my personal Twitter. It's out there. So if you want to follow the Talking About Balls Facebook or YouTube page, please do that. It's really easy to find if you just find those links and do it. And that's the goal, is to move forward. Because again, I just got fucking banned from sharing on Facebook for whatever reason. Kind of just want to move on to YouTube and focus full time on YouTube.
I'd like to just focus on YouTube completely going forward.
And again, as I did last time, I'll show you. I have the show playing right now on my phone. It is there. Maybe it'll scroll other apps. You can go down and the show's just playing, and then boom, I'm on fucking Facebook, and I have the show playing at the bottom. It's perfect.
Boom.
So
tough act to connect.
do it to it. Get to it. Download YouTube app if you don't have it already. Who doesn't have YouTube? You want to do ad reads now? I think we're in the mood to do ad reads.
This is a special ad read brought to you by Talking About Balls.
It's It's brought to you by Redline Radio.
Mm-hmm.
Because without them, these ad reads wouldn't be possible. Let's be honest.
It's also very true. And I have some amazing ad reads to bring out today. My biggest one I want to talk about is the old Puff and Roll.
Love it.
Puff and Roll.
CBD, vapes, and kratom.
Kratom.
Kratom? Is that how you say
I
it?
didn't know you could roll kratom though, but
You can roll anything you want.
I guess so. But hey, you know what? You can also puff it. You can roll it and puff it. If you want to give them a call, the phone number is 440-444-4443. And there's so many goddamn fours in that thing. But they're also on Instagram at puff_n_roll. Or you can check them out at 464 North Abbey Road in Elyria. Oh, right down the street from
More
my house.
fours.
More fours. This is a lot of heavy four
Love
heads.
it.
But hey, we are progressive people on this show. I know I participate in the green leaf sometimes. I know you do, and I'm gonna go on a limb here and assume Tim does too.
No, I don't think so. Not
Of
Tim.
course
No,
not.
not Tim would never.
No.
But
Tim's a straight edge.
this takes care of
No.
everything that's not weed. It looks like so, but I don't know if they sell weed there or not. But it looks like they take care of everything else for you. Give them a call today. Tell them that team Talking About Balls sent you. I don't know what you get, but maybe a high five or we are fucking ghosting our show right now.
Now we officially are Caspers. We were talking about our basements and how we have a lot of concrete down there. If you need any help with your concrete work, give a call to Affordable Concrete Solutions, 440-714-1987, or go to www.concreteacs.com. Tell them Redline Radio sent you. And I don't know if that gets you anything, 'cause I don't know really much about this company other than that's their name and their phone number and their website.
It's amazing. You know,
Check it out.
If you have issues with your car, you can go to Tuffy's Tire and Auto Service. I don't know where to tell you where to go. I don't know who to call, but I know Tuffy's will take care of you.
Yeah, always trust Tuffy. If you're interested in cars, in whether it's racing them, buying little stock cars to play with, or getting yours fixed, I don't really know what this company does, but give a call to Hayo Wheelma Siri. Give them a call. It's all I got. It's a very zoomed in picture. I believe that's the state of Ohio, kind of crooked in the background with a race car. Don't know what they do. Don't know what it is. I believe it actually says Ohio Wheelman Series. Don't know what that means. I have no idea. There's no information, but that's, I believe, what it says. There's just a weird picture of it. So that's what you got here for Redline Radio.
I like it. You know the country that Iron Man was in when he went down in the first movie and got shut up? It was Iraq, which is right outside of Russia. But if you're curious, in the Russian version of Iron Man, it's Vitamin Ambers and Vens.
Vitamin Ambers and Vens.
They sell Vens with Ambers and Vitamin.
Give them a call at 061092. That's not enough phone numbers, but that's all I have. I don't know what to tell you. Give them a call. Tell them Jorge sent you, and you can and you can get Ambers and Vens. If you're looking for Amber in the van, you can call 06192.
And I'm going to assume that another new one of ours is Brain Dagger. I don't know. That's what it looks like. Brain Dagger Film. Knowledge is fill in the blank.
That's what I love about Brain Daggers. They let you create your own journey. Knowledge is what? It's whatever you want to
do with your life.
I will say I'm somewhat familiar with Brain Dagger because Grape was working with them, friend of show. He was with them right before.
So Knowledge is anything you want it to be. I
his
like
Redline exit, and they are, I believe, a production company. So Brain Dagger Films. Knowledge is something.
So I'm not sure if this is the sister station or sister company to Incredible Keepsakes, but Credible Keepsakes is a great company to look out for. They do amazing things. They do hairish moments. They're not cherish, but they're hairish moments. But they're also made to last forever. But if you want anything done with shirts, t-shirts, coffee cups, anything, I'm assuming they can do the same thing Incredible Keepsakes does. So give Diane a call today.
I don't have a phone number off the top of my head here, but if you want to work with Redline Media Group, or as it says here, if you want to work with Edline Media Group, you can give us a call here at whatever the number is, because there's not a phone number on that either.
It's 440. That's all I know.
That's all we know, because there's nothing even on here.
It's 440-503-0828.
Sounds good to me. I don't remember. I got one that actually fits. There's one new one that's on here. It's the middle of summer right now. August is creeping up. It's right here. It's upon us. The hot days haven't even really started yet. August is usually one of the hotter months of the year. So if you have any issue with your HVAC, if your house isn't getting cold, or if you're worried about winter coming up and you're worried that your house isn't going to be warm enough, call Sensible Solutions HVAC Service LLC 440-985-8387.
Oh, there's two full ones on here. Well, three, but I'll read the second one. Wiggins Construction and Home Improvement. They're the OG of sponsorships. They've done our studio, everything. Give them a call today at 440-731-4654. Tell them that Team Redline sent you. And I don't know, is this the one where you get the 10% off? I'm not sure because it's not on there right now.
Remember.
I'm just guessing here.
Another company that we love ever since we started here at Redline Radio. This is somebody that, entertaining as shit. Kyle and I go to these all the time. Speaking of Dan Romer, big wrestler, RPW, Redline Pro Wrestling. Obviously, I mean, they have shows all the time. I'm just kidding. It's been a year and a half now we've been with Redline Radio, and they've never had one thing with Redline Pro Wrestling, but except for Dave owns belts. Except
I know that we had the tag team belts, and those have never officially been taken off us because I wasn't pinned before. How about you?
Never seen them since.
Exactly.
I don't know what happened to them. Maybe Dave pawned them.
And that was the ad reads brought to you by Talking About Balls, where we are always talking on our feet and keeping you on yours.
Speaking of things that aren't updated, do you know there's shows on Redline Radio every day?
They're not on Monday.
There are. It's just not on that board, because why would it be? You could check out, what is it?
Church Boy Fellowship.
Fellowship. I almost said Church Boy Service, and I was like, that's not right. Church Boy Fellowship, Monday night, 7 to 9. Check it out.
It's written in white. That's why.
Oh, yeah. I can barely see it from here. Church Boy Fellowship, Monday night, 7 to 9. You can check it out on Redline Radio Studio 1. And then you're going to ease yourself into Tuesday. And what do you ease yourself into Tuesday with?
I ease myself into Tim
the Hug Cam himself, Tim Buck Tuesday, 6 to 8. Check him out on Redline Radio Studio number 1. I was actually watching his show. That's the best part about.
Hold on.
He knows Kyle needs
Alert.
one right now.
Give it to me, baby.
That's the best part about Redline Radio is you can watch it
for a hug right now.
You can watch it on an app.
Oh, there
so
it is.
I'm sitting there last night, literally, I'm at Olive Garden, and I'm
See, that's
watching
the
Timbuk
heart
Tuesday.
warmer right there.
That is a good
Thanks,
one. That
buddy.
one looks so nice.
I feel good now. I feel calmed down. And then I looked at the show schedule again. I'm pissed off again. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it doesn't last long. But yeah, Timbuk Tuesday can be seen on Redline Radio. All the social medias. You can check it out on Twitter. You can check it out on YouTube, Facebook. However you want to find Tim, you're going to find him. Check out Tim's personal accounts too. Tim, plug your socials right now because I want Tim to get some followers here. What are you into? Are you an Instagram? You a TikTok? What are you into more?
I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Twitter is more like Pornhub for me, or X, I should call it. I don't know what that was. But Timbuktu.
I forgot they changed their name.
Yeah, Timbuktu. That's TIMBUKTU_31 on TikTok and Instagram. And then Facebook is Timothy Washington Jr.
Check him out. And
YouTube is Timbuktu Production.
That's what. Yeah, I asked you earlier. I want to start subscribe to you. I got to do that. Timbuktu Production. I'll find you. And every Tuesday you can check a show out 6 to 8. Timbuk Tuesdays always is a great cast. You never know who's going to be there. You never know what they're going to talk about. The best part, Tim doesn't even know what they're going to talk about, and I love that.
Don't.
Also on Tuesdays, live on location with Gary Wenner from 6 to 10, playing all of your hits. RedlineRadioLLC.com exclusive. Excuse me. There we go. Broad Street South 8 to 9 on Tuesdays. Talking about balls, of course, from 7 to 9 on Wednesdays. What's up in the 216? Hopefully that'll be coming back soon. Any word on that? You said it was supposed to be August, right?
I think she's supposed to come back this month. I'm not 100%.
Okay. So
I saw she posted the other day and said when her doctor gives her clearance, she'll be back. So I'm not sure.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay, that's great news. So hopefully,
she posted on one of Dave's posts.
Oh, okay. So hopefully she's back soon. That would be great. Her show is entertaining as shit. I look forward to it coming back on Thursdays. I already talked about him, our man, that guy Dub from 3 to 4. Check it out again. I was just on the show. Had a great time talking to him. Could have talked for hours, but I was up against it. I only had an hour to spare. I had to go pick up my new couch and then go golf. So I had a little bit of a time crunch.
Priorities, man. Priorities.
Hey, that's how it goes. Also on Thursdays for the culture, the Lex Vegas show, one of the best shows at Redline Radio. He is always bringing the fire. Last week, he had his daughter on.
Yep, last Thursday.
Good times. That dude's willing to, I won't even say push the envelope because having your daughter on is just, it's got to be like an uncomfortable experience, especially for his show and his what's what I'm looking for, material, like what he talks about. Got to be awkward to do it in front of your daughter. So kudos to him for having on there. That takes some balls. Broad Street South also from 8 to 9. And then if you're on RedlineRadioLLC.com, you can always check out Tim. From 5 to 7, only on RedlineRadioLLC.com. Going on a bit of a hiatus going forward for the whole month of August. There will not be a show on Friday nights, but when it comes back, you can always check out from 8 to 10. On Saturdays, you've got Unscripted from 10 to 12. Were they on last week? I don't think so. I don't remember getting a notification or anything.
One of them wasn't allowed out of the nursing home, so they had to postpone the show.
Chipper, Dave, or Adam?
All three.
Could have been any of them. Unscripted, or as we like to call it, unattended, because they didn't even have a fucking show. You could check it out on Saturdays sometimes. Like, I don't know. They don't even tell anybody when they're not going to have a show. Too Much Information from 6 to 8, TMI, and Comedy and Cocktails with Jen from 8:30 to 9:30. And then on Sundays, coming soon, Steel City Running Late. Their show will be going on.
I am going to promise you right now that their entire first hour of their show is going to be nothing but the George pick and catch that they're going to talk about. Guarantee it.
No, actually, I think most of their show will be them talking about balls because they love them some us. Let's be honest, they love them some us. Also, you've got Loud and Local with Jeff from 7:30 to 9:30. He's always playing different bands, local music. He's always setting up concerts. He's a grinder, man. Give him all the credit in the world for the work that he puts in. So check all those shows out on Redline Radio. There might be more that I don't even know about because the fucking schedule hasn't been updated in weeks. So I don't know. Maybe there's a new show that I forgot to talk about. I always see Dave telling people to come on Redline and make a show. I don't know if they do it or not. Because how would I know?
Cut off.
Yeah, we're still going. I can see us on there.
I see. It's so anybody wondering? Oh, actually, no, we're not. It just went out.
Okay, we can still be heard.
It's the man. It's the man trying to get to us.
You can never silence us.
You
might be able to not see us, but you'll never silence us.
All right, let's talk some sports, man.
Really quick, actually, I wanted one more thing.
One
more thing I made a little note of.
Oh, FYI, our lights are not going off and on. The bill was paid, I think. It's just a camera. So just in case you're wondering why we're getting darker out over here.
It's just because
Tim weird.
Tim keeps hugging us. He's rubbing off on us.
Tim walks up to the screen, it gets a lot darker. I don't know. It's weird.
I wanted to ask you guys, Mega Millions is the 4th highest it's ever been in history.
Was it going to be a Friday?
1.25 billion.
Oh, I'm
with
playing.
a B.
I'm playing.
I already played. I bought my tickets tonight, or today. Are you guys playing? A.
Yes.
I'm gonna play right now.
B. If you win,
Uh-huh.
first purchase.
Land.
Okay. Kyle wants to be a landowner. Tim, first purchase.
Redline Radio.
So after you spent $10, what else are you gonna buy?
No,
Let's keep coming.
the first purchase is probably
New internet for the studio.
a Porsche.
A Porsche.
I like it. Mine would be not a sexy purchase. I'd buy a lawyer. I would immediately get myself a lawyer.
Oh yeah, I mean, okay. So outside of that, because the
Yeah,
first three
'cause
things
the-
I would
yeah.
do is a lawyer, a financial advisor,
Yes.
and I'd also hire a
A masseuse.
masseuse,
Sean Watson.
someone else, because then I would make sure that okay. Here's the other thing: would you stay anonymous, right?
I don't think you can.
You can't in Ohio.
You can't.
Certain states, I don't think Ohio's one of
Ooh,
them.
That sucks because I would change my phone number third then, because I want nobody knowing to call me or get a hold of me.
I mean, I would still-
I'll answer the phone and tell them no. No,
I would- Well, I would still change all my contact
I-
information.
I would
People
put-
would know that I'm a
I
rich
would-
motherfucker now.
If I hit that much money, because you think about the end of it, because they did the math yesterday online. Someone's like, if you take the lump sum, which you would be stupid not to, you only get like, I think it's like 350 million
Only?
after taxes and shit.
only.
Wait, that can't be true. I think taxes they take like
No, because then they take like they take their part off the top, and then federal takes their part, then state takes their part.
really 1 billion would 1.25
It's like
would cut you down to
$360
$300.
million.
I shouldn't owe taxes
That
for the
seems
next 10
crazy.
years.
I feel like you'd walk away with at least like,
If you take the
500 or
lump sum, if you
600.
take the lump sum, right?
Yeah.
If you take the payments, you'll make more money over time. I believe is what they did.
And how much?
Said.
What do the payments break down to?
That I don't know on a billion. I'm not sure, but you make more money in the long run. But you think about it: if you get that much, 360 million, you put $1 million into a high earning account, that money's going to make money, and you'll be fucking set for life.
I would
So,
put more than that. With 300 million, like
yeah,
it would be hard to spend that much money in a lifetime.
I
So
would push limits on that.
I would
but-
too, but in the high interest accounts, I would put like 150 of
Yeah,
million.
that's why
of that.
you
Like,
say a financial advisor here. Do what
Yeah.
you have to do.
like
Take
I
it.
want to live like an asshole. First and foremost,
Yeah.
so let's financially advise for that. Let's put money aside for me to spend it
See the
frivolously.
trust. There you go.
I'll buy a shit.
Yeah,
And
you
then-
and I'd put money into a trust for my friends, like certain friends. Like here's X amount for you, you and you,
Yeah.
family, you and you, and that's it. No more asking questions. Sign this thing that says you'll never ask me for money again.
NDA.
And we're moving on. Yeah, NDA
Yeah.
for sure.
I'm
But
very
you know,
excited.
but you know, what else I would buy land to build a house, like
Mhm.
I would build like a move people, like if people wanted to, like big section of land, just build houses, people with my friends or whatever.
you
want to live
basically
on.
make like a resort.
Yeah, a resort, and then I'd buy another chunk of land. I'd work with someone to design my own golf course.
Oh, I like that. Patrick Mahomes just got I don't think he got a course. He got like a hole put in his backyard.
Yeah.
Like one
Yeah,
hole. Like
I
a
would
par three,
design
think.
my own golf course. I'd make it like high end, so like they held tournaments there,
Mhm.
and I could play, and my friends could play anytime we wanted to, and let someone else run it. I just make the money off of it.
I would like that, but at the same time, I feel like I would get bored and be like, all right, I want to go play at a different course. I would just be bouncing around.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's
with
a
all that
course-
money, I could do whatever I wanted.
absolutely.
That's
Take
the
the
best part.
private Lear jet this weekend. Let's go play Augusta
Yeah.
or something. I don't know.
Then we could really play Pebble Beach.
You don't know who we are. We can play Pebble Beach. Don't even ask questions.
All right. As promised, we will talk a little bit about sports, not just the
From
golf,
a
not just the
billionaire
golf
to
that we play.
millionaire, Joe Thomas goes into the Hall of Fame.
Finally, first ballot Hall of Famer Joe Thomas. His time has made it. Congratulations to him. We all knew he was
Well
going to the Hall of Fame.
deserved.
The second he announced his retirement, I told everybody. I mean, even when he was still playing, I got into arguments with people where I told them like Joe Thomas is a first ballot Hall of Famer, no question. People were like, "No way, he's an offensive lineman." I'm like, he's one of the greatest of all time. I hope everyone understands and appreciates that as a Browns fan. So kudos to Joe Thomas. He is officially going into the Hall of Fame this weekend. It is here. In honor of him, the Browns are in the Hall of Fame game. His enshrinement speech and all that jazz will be on Saturday.
It's like a half a man he used to be, because he literally
He
is
lost a
half the
lot of
man
weight.
he used to be.
Good for him though. He's getting into broadcasting and he wants to continue that. He does the play-by-play for the Browns preseason games. He works for the NFL Network in small capacities and stuff. So kudos. I'm happy for him. I think he's a great, entertaining guy. Super nice. I met him a couple times. I have a bunch of his autographs. Like, he is just one of the nicest people in the
Yep.
world. I used to live in Westlake, and I think he lived out there. I don't know if he still does, back when he still played with the team. And I ran into him and his family at an ice cream store one time, and just nice as can be. Like, I wasn't bothering. I just said, like, hey, how you doing? And
Yeah.
that was it. Like, I wasn't like, hey, let me get an autograph. I don't care about that. If someone's out with their family, I respect them. But just super nice guy. And honestly, I couldn't be happier that a Cleveland Brown is headlining the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
A Cleveland Brown that I got to watch play his entire career here.
Yep. Can't say the next time that's going to happen, but
with this roster, we have a lot of guys that are going to be in the Hall of Fame. Like Myles Garrett will be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Depending on how his career goes, Chubb definitely could. It's hard for running back though. He's going to have to break some records. It depends on his career. I mean, he's still young. If he goes out and wins a Super Bowl or two, 100% he's a Hall of Famer. Chubb, on the other hand, same thing. If he wins we get a Super Bowl or two with him, if he gets a rushing title or two, there's a good chance he could be, because he does have a very high yards per carry average. If he keeps that up, he is in the same conversation as Jim Brown, but he's got to work on the yardage and get more yards this year. So yeah, if his stats keep going, he could be in there. Trying to think of who else might be a potential Hall of Famer. It would be really hard for them, but Joel Bitonio, I think, could be a Hall of Famer. I would absolutely see that. I think that might be it for this current roster, if I'm being honest with you.
Unless some of these younger people we have on a team.
Yeah, the younger guys, obviously, we got to see what happens with them. But for right now, that might be it. But I still think that's a pretty good group.
Absolutely.
We have a few guys that we can see it, but it is awesome to know that.
I'm excited to see what his speech is going to be, because he's a pretty funny guy.
He's a very entertaining guy. His wife is going to be doing his, like, whatever it's called. She's going to be doing his like introduction or whatever.
He didn't get somebody else to introduce him? Oh, that's
no, he's having his wife do it.
How nice of him.
And then you got Darrelle Revis is also going to be going in, and that's the one cool thing is Darrelle Revis he's clearly known by most football fans, Revis Island, one of the best corners of all time. And Joe Thomas is still going to be the headline guy.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of people think maybe that's just because it's in Canton, which is not far from Cleveland. So they think the proximity is why he's the headliner, but I think he is the overall better player.
Yeah, I mean, people don't realize what we had with Joe Thomas, like, because he's always on a shitty team, right?
Yeah, we had the most dominant left tackle.
But when you break down the stats, and I'm sure Steve probably could bust out numbers right now.
Steve loves Joe Thomas, but he doesn't, though,
but
honestly.
you could. But if you look in the stats statistically, I mean, one of the best left tackles ever to play the game, which is amazing. He always protected. Probably one of the only left tackles to protect as many quarterbacks as he protected.
I was actually listening to a radio show today, and all week long on Cleveland radio, because of Joe Thomas, this is his week. They've been interviewing him, coaches, ex-teammates, etc. One of the shows had Derek Anderson on today.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And they were like, hey, you played with Joe. What was that like? And he said, that guy was so damn good that I didn't even realize it, because the rest of the team wasn't that great. He would occasionally find himself like floating to the left as a quarterback, because he's just like, I feel safe over here because Joe Thomas is right here. He said eventually, like, coaches had to yell at him, and they were like, Derek, what the hell are you doing? Like, stop floating over there. And he's like, I didn't even realize I was doing it. It's just Joe Thomas is blocking for me. I'm like, I know I'm going to be okay
behind him. Yeah, that's where you want to be. Makes sense.
It's great. Kudos to him. I'm really excited again. It's just cool to see a player that I got to watch. Like, I know there have been other Browns players in the Hall of Fame. There's been like a guy like Clay Matthews is a guy that everyone wants in the Hall of Fame.
I hope he gets in eventually. But
he deserves it. Truthfully, if you look at his stats, he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
He's been in so many semifinalists.
Yeah, just hasn't made it yet.
Never made it.
So hopefully one day he goes, which would be cool. But at the same time, I never watched Clay Matthews play a down of football. So
I feel like he's going to be part of that like part that gets in if they've passed on, like, as he dies and they bring in other people.
Yeah, I could see that. Or like it is going to be a while. It could be like a year where they're like, fuck, we only have like 3 guys that are really worth going into the Hall of Fame. So they're like, let's throw a couple of these like guys on the edge. And that's where you might see him. But again, I would be happy for him. I know a lot of like, older people in Cleveland that watch the Browns for their whole lives are very familiar with him. Again, I never saw him play down. There we go. So it would be really cool. Here we go. We got Steve's stats. Allowed just 30 sacks in 6,680 pass block snaps, which is sack allowed in 0.004% of total pass plays, according to Pro Football Focus. That's insane.
Ask and we shall receive.
That is insane.
It's crazy, because people probably look at that number and go, oh, okay, but that's insanely good.
Like, there are some offensive linemen.
I'd be curious where that ranks of all time.
Like, some offensive linemen give up like 10 plus sacks a year.
Yeah.
He gave up 30 sacks in his career. That's like
out of 6,680 pass.
2 or 3 seasons for your average offensive lineman.
And mind you, those were a lot of bad quarterbacks who probably didn't help the line.
They held the ball too long. We didn't have everybody around him on the offensive line. There were some years we had some good offensive linemen. Like when we had Mitchell Schwartz, Joel Bitonio, Alex Mack, Joe Thomas, and then whoever the fuck we would put in at right guard. Those offensive lines were pretty damn good. We had one of the best offensive lines in football, but not taking anything away from Joe Thomas. Joe Thomas has been here since 2007. And like Kyle said, he has protected some really fucking bad quarterbacks. He had to protect Johnny Manziel. He's had to protect Charlie Fry, Brady Quinn, Derek Anderson. The list goes on and on. I mean, just garbage fucking quarterbacks. This poor guy had to protect and did it at the highest level.
Yeah, kudos, Joe.
Yeah,
Kudos
very
to
happy
Joe.
for Joe Thomas. Literally one of my favorite Cleveland Browns. I've met him, like I said, a bunch of times. I have his autograph. I've got Joe Thomas memorabilia in my basement. Just a guy that, like, in the future, I know he's only been retired now. This is his 5th year being retired, but he's a guy that you could buy a jersey of and wear it any time, and no one's going to bat an eye. They're like, oh, yeah, hell yeah, Joe Thomas. That's a great player.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got him. I got to sign one in my basement. It's like my centerpiece.
Yeah, that's a good one to have.
Because the Hall of Famer, right? It makes sense. So boom.
He is truly the greatest Cleveland Brown I've ever got to watch play football in my lifetime so far.
Absolutely. I agree.
Myles Garrett will probably pass that as he continues to go in his career.
I hope this year is just a boost point for him. I hope that that he takes off to another level this year.
We will talk all about this. I know we like to do the winging it in the beginning of the show, but the next 2 episodes, because it works out perfectly before the season starts, we're going to do next episode will be an AFC breakdown, and the episode after that will be an NFC breakdown. So we're going to do all that. We will talk about the Browns, and we'll give our predictions on defensive player of the year. We'll do a special Cleveland Browns only prediction type thing where we're going to predict like over under touchdowns or yards for Nick Chubb, over under sacks for Myles Garrett, over under touchdowns for Deshaun Watson, things like that. We're going to do fun shit like that in our next episode.
And don't forget, we are officially back full time.
Yeah,
the 30th of August.
Yep, and that's why, because we'll do the NFC preview. Then the next week will be our normal NFL. We get to do pick'em. We get to do, we'll talk a little fantasy maybe, because you guys will be getting ready to make your fantasy lineups for that week because it's going to count. So I just wanted to give you guys a little heads up for all that of what I have planned for what we're going to be doing in the next couple of weeks, or next couple of episodes, I should say. But yeah, we are going to be weekly starting August 30th, and I can't wait. But yeah, this week, Joe Thomas, it's the Joe Thomas celebration. I could not be more excited because tomorrow there is actual tackle football happening with the Cleveland Browns, albeit Kellen Mond is getting the start. You will see nobody of value for the most part. You'll see a couple guys like Tillman's going to play. Most of the rookies are going to play.
Rookies are going to play for sure. Yeah.
Some of the even second year guys are going to play. Some undrafted guys that might not make the team are going to play.
Are you going to put a bet on a game?
Already did.
Oh, of course you did.
Browns money line.
Oh, you went the money line.
Yeah, because they're plus like 105 for the Browns money line.
I was going to put some money on like some of like stat guys like mine I was going to put on there.
I'm not touching that. Only because I don't know what the Browns plan is, because we do have Dorian Thompson-Robinson, or Thomas Robinson, however the fuck you say his name, the backup. We have some younger quarterbacks, and younger players at every position. I don't know how much time these guys are going to see. Even for Tillman, Cedric Tillman is our rookie wide receiver. He might only be out there for a series. So if you take him to be like, I have him over 4 catches. He's only out there for 3 plays, gets maybe 1 catch, and they're like, all right, we want you out. We don't want to risk you getting hurt because you're a big part of our future. Then he doesn't get it. So I'm not touching preseason just because of the snap counts.
I might put a couple dollars and some fun stats to see. But the money line one is curious. I guess I didn't check the line. They are plus 110?
They were like, I think plus 105, maybe 110. I don't remember. Yeah. But yeah, technically the Jets are the favorite, -2, which makes sense. Now hear me out. He sucks ass. But Zach Wilson was the number 2 overall pick in the draft.
Yes.
Just a few years ago.
And he was their starter for 2 years in a row.
He was their starter for a handful of games here and there before he either got benched or hurt, because he was not good. Let's preface with that. He's very bad. Hang on, one more. Joe Thomas' career pass block grade from Pro Football Focus was 95.9, which is the best among any player from the Pro Football Focus era.
Woo!
So he literally is
the best,
the greatest offensive lineman
of all time.
You notice we always have like the best players that they make a difference.
Can't do shit for us.
Positions that don't matter. Yeah.
Like I don't see Joe Thomas running that ball in the end zone. You fucking slacker.
Bill Dawson could kick the ball through any fucking weather. Like he had a great leg. He knew how to play the wind and everything. But did he get to do it that much? Nope, because we sucked. We weren't in scoring position half the time, so it didn't matter.
Isn't he like our leading scorer of all time or second?
He might be,
It's
yeah.
not saying much.
Well, no, that actually happens a lot in sports. The kickers usually are, because you figure they're getting a lot more points than like the quarterbacks. Like, you figure you get a touchdown, running backs run it in. So in any given year, if hypothetically Tom Brady throws 30 touchdowns, but you have running backs that are going to run for 15 touchdowns combined, maybe 20, a couple defensive touchdowns here and there, punt return, kick return, the kicker comes out every time and kicks that extra point. So after every time you score a touchdown, no matter who scored it, the kicker's getting a point most 99% of the time. And then in your field goal range, they're getting 3 points. So kickers are usually the team's leading scorer. Like Justin Tucker is probably Baltimore's all-time leading scorer and will end his career that way.
He's for sure a Hall of Famer, I think.
Oh, no question. I just mean, like, in terms of being a team's like highest scorer, if a team had a really good kicker, it's usually the kicker.
Yeah, agree. What are you looking for tomorrow night?
Obviously, no one in particular. I want to see DTR come out and look great as a rookie quarterback, because that's another thing that a lot of people got to look at. I think Kellen Mond and DTR are battling for the third quarterback spot. I don't think we're going to hold 4. So this is really a battle of their jobs. In terms of the rookies, I'm just excited to see the defensive lineman, Ika, or however the fuck you pronounce his name, the kid from Baylor, the big Samoan.
The big dude.
Big dude. Cedric Tillman, I'm excited to watch, a wide receiver, because he's made some decent catches in training camp, and I think they have high expectations for him, for what it's worth for a 3rd-round pick. Honestly, for me, it's just I want to watch these young kids go out there and play. I want to watch the defense, and I know it's going to be mostly backups. I understand, but I want them to embarrass Zach Wilson. My buddies are Jets fans. I know it's the Hall of Fame game. I know it doesn't mean anything, but I want to beat the fuck out of the Jets. I want to embarrass Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
I want them to pick him off, strip sack, etc. I want to be able to text the most laughing emojis I could fucking send tomorrow. I want my phone to, just like Facebook did, ban me from sending laughing emojis to my friends. That's how bad I want it to be.
It's going to start limiting certain emojis you can send.
Yeah, it's going to be like my Siri's going to be like, dude, what the fuck? Like, are you done doing this? But I'm looking forward to the game. And again, my number one takeaway for the whole preseason, do not get hurt.
Yes.
Last year, the very first snap of the preseason, Nick Harris fucking blew his knee out, done. He was our starting center, supposed to be, for the entire year. Blew his knee out, done. Immediately after the first snap.
It's horrible. Yeah, that's the one thing I was probably looking forward to most, is just watching the game and healthy. Right? I want to see a good game, good plays. I want to see the rookies get their time. I want to see some crisp passes. I want to see some plays out there, just blocking and some defensive plays. But I want everybody to walk up the field at the end of the game not injured. Rookie or no rookie, I just want to make sure we're all healthy.
And obviously, I said it was because I hate Zach Wilson and the Jets, but I mean, all seriousness behind it, I want the defense to just look dominant because of how well coached they are by Jim Schwartz. I want this new defensive scheme that we're running to just go out there and be lights out, even though it's these young, I won't say shitty, these young, like, wannabe players, these kids that are trying to make it in the NFL. They're not the most talented, but if they can go out there and kind of prove that this defense is going to work no matter who you put in the system, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, agree.
A couple guys I am curious to see who I don't know if they're going to get a lot of playing time. I saw one guy saying that he's really excited to see Martin Emerson, legitimately could be our number 2 corner in the season.
He fluctuated back and forth last year, I think.
He might be better than Greg Newsome, if I'm being honest. And that's how good he is. So he's one of those guys of, like, he's going into year 2, but I think we really are going to need him. So let's not overplay him in a meaningless preseason Hall of Fame
probably see
game.
some of these guys play like 1 or 2 downs.
I'm okay with that. Get him some live speed reps.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do that. And these young kids too, let's get them a series or 2, but let's not overdo it. I really want my phone to die because I'm on Google so much going, who the fuck is this guy again?
We'll see Ford tomorrow for a little while, I think. That's going to be fun to watch.
You're going to see Jerome Ford. You're going to see all these young kids that, you got a little glimpse of last year, but they barely saw the field, that everybody was mad about. Like, oh, why isn't he touching the ball more? You're going to see them a lot tomorrow and over the next few weeks, because I don't think you're going to see a lot of, if they're smart, you're not going to see Myles Garrett play 1 snap in the preseason.
No,
if I'm being honest.
He's probably not going to even dress.
Nick Chubb, same thing, should not even dress. Deshaun Watson,
he should play 1 game
I would
for
say,
a couple downs.
Yeah. The only thing though is we do have that dual practice with the Eagles again. So we're going to have a week of practice with the Eagles where, from what I was told, or like from what I've heard from reporters that always talk about this, when you do a dual team practice, you treat that almost like the game itself.
Yeah.
Every day in practice, you're taking game reps. Like, the players are taking it that serious. You're going full speed. So in the preseason game against that same team, you don't play anybody because
Yeah.
you're like, our week of practice was the preseason game. We don't need them to go out there and get hurt. Dub, what's up, man? He's on break probably at work. We were talking about that. Whenever Dub can get off work, I've graciously, just like he did for me, told him he is more than welcome on Talking About Balls at any time. So, Dub, thank you again for having me on your show last week or over the weekend. I look forward to seeing it air, and you are always welcome on here. They're going to be in man. We're running that wide 9 with Jim Schwartz. It's going to be a total different look of the defense, something that I don't think fans are going to be. They're not going to be ready for it. Common fans don't like. I don't know. I'm crazy. You guys all know this when football season comes around. Is the wide 9 defense we're going to run, is that common? Like, do most fans know what that means? Or like, do they know what it is? Or is this something where it's going to blow their fucking minds tomorrow?
Probably going to blow their fucking minds tomorrow.
Okay. That's what I expect. So, I'm going to be next week. Hell yeah. That's awesome, Dub. Appreciate that, man. Yeah. Thank you again for having me, dude. I had a great time. I plugged it a little bit earlier in the show. We went over the recap for everything for the week. And yeah, thank you again for having me. I gave a shout out to Tim. Gave a great shout out to my man Ray. Peter, shout out. So I wish. I mean, we talked flew by. We were getting in some good shit. We talked sports. We talked a little about like favorite movies. He even asked me like, if you won a lottery, what's the first thing you would buy? And we were talking about that.
That's a good question. Yeah.
So yeah, we had a great time, man. I really enjoyed talking with Dub. So that was a really fun time. So check his show out Thursdays, 3 to 4 on Redline Radio. As long as it's up there on the board because they don't fucking update it ever. But what are you going to do? So yeah, my number one takeaway, don't get hurt. It's the preseason. These young kids are out there.
What Jamie said? I didn't see it.
He said he hopes the defense keeps Ward and Newsome in man-to-man coverage, which again, I think they will mostly be in because of the defense we're going to be running. Schwartz knows what he's doing. We now have a Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator who has ran defenses that have been dominant multiple times. It's not a fluky guy that was 1 year, like he had a good year. He's been a very good defensive coordinator for his entire career. So I am not worried at all about Jim Schwartz. I also think we have the best talent we've ever had on defense with Juan Thornhill at safety, with Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith, the Harrison, whatever, fucking defensive tackle. I don't remember half their names. We got so many new guys in here, honestly.
Have you watched any practice clips and anything online?
I've seen a few. The one thing I hate about social media during training camp is they only show you like highlight shit. Like,
Sure.
oh, look at this amazing catch. Or there's people that hate Deshaun Watson that would show like, oh, look at this interception.
I haven't seen much hate for Deshaun Watson this year.
I hear about
as
it.
much as it was last year.
No, it's definitely not as bad. But the thing is like, you got to remember the defense knows the offensive playbook.
Right.
Like the defense knows what play teams are running. There will be times in practice where a team will run the same offensive play multiple times and they want the quarterback to make different reads and do different things, but the players go to the same spot. So the defense knows what a guy is doing. So it's a lot easier to make an offense look bad. I've also heard some things that it's hard to, I don't know how to take it. I've heard Jedrick Wills is getting beat like a fucking drum.
That's what she said.
Don't know how to take it.
It's hard.
It's so hard. How do I take it?
He's getting beat by a drum by Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett. I heard
only you get to get sharpen that tool, man.
I heard yesterday that Myles Garrett was in the backfield before Deshaun Watson could take his like last step back, like 4 times at least. Like that's how quick he was getting back there. Which great that Myles Garrett's moving that fucking fast.
Sure.
That's amazing. But
sucks for our left tackle.
Not good for Jedrick Wills because unfortunately Myles Garrett's really, really good. But there are guys in this division
who are
Trey Hendrickson,
pretty good.
TJ Watt. Those guys are pretty good too. And if they're working one-on-one with Jed Wills, that's not good for Deshaun Watson. I don't want. That's my biggest worry is that someone's going to get our quarterback killed because they're piss poor blocking.
I just hope that iron sharpens iron. You know, one of those things where he's getting better because of Myles is beating his ass. But I don't know.
I have no ill will against Jedrick Wills. I think he's a fine player. He's just not a. That's the tough thing is we went from Joe Thomas, we went from the greatest left tackle of all time to a good left tackle in Jedrick Wills. Right. So it's a steep drop off, but he's not that bad. Like he's
one of the most important positions on the line.
It 100% is
blindside.
Your blindside for your quarterback. You are his protector.
So what I was asking was if you watched any clips. Did you watch the clip of Ward against Elijah Moore on that
touchdown? That little that red zone play.
That was pretty slick.
That was awesome. And again, that's Elijah Moore was a damn good player, highly coveted coming out of college. Went to the Jets where they have no quarterbacks. Their offense has been trash for the last 5 years. And there are statistics that show Elijah Moore is so much more productive when any quarterback not named Zach Wilson was in the game. And the stats are there to prove it. It was like 11 games without Zach Wilson. He has like 600 yards, 5 touchdowns. With Zach Wilson, he's got like 0 touch. Like his numbers are atrocious with Zach Wilson because Zach Wilson is a very, very bad quarterback. So that's one player. And I'm not going to sit here and pound the table and say, take Elijah Moore in fantasy. I think he's going to have a fantasy football
absolutely taking
year.
Elijah Moore in football this year.
I think he's going to have a good year. I'm not willing to stake my reputation on him having.
I mean,
again.
He's a solid 3 potentially.
Oh no,
in
absolutely.
Your team. Yeah,
I'm saying he's a guy you can take, but I'm not saying don't take him like early, thinking like this dude's going to be the reason I win a fantasy championship. Is he a good guy to have on your bench in fantasy? I would think so. I could see him going a week where he puts up 12 points, and then a week where he puts up 4.
I've always had issues drafting anybody who's not Chubb on the Browns team.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what you're going to get production wise, right? So now this year you might be able to. Cooper was solid last year, right? Cooper was
very good, and that's the other thing too is
for catches.
He was going in with Jacoby Brissett, and that was another thing is I didn't know who to trust on the offense last year because we had Jacoby Brissett. I was worried Nick Chubb wasn't going to do much because they would stack the box against Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett proved to have his best year as a quarterback, but it still didn't result in any fancy mind-blowing players.
Right,
Amari Cooper wasn't winning you a championship. DPJ wasn't winning you a championship, nor was David Njoku. So,
but if you had Cooper as your second or third option, if you wanted just 10, 15 points, you were fine. You were getting those catches, and you're getting the
you're
yards.
You're going to get 6 catches for 80 to 100 yards, and you're going to get maybe a touchdown every other week. Not bad at all.
So I'm excited to watch the game tomorrow night, just to watch real football again. I'll probably watch it outside in the patio tomorrow night, just catch the game, see what happens. But I'm excited for it to be here finally.
I'm really excited. I love football. You guys know that's my favorite sport. So this is my time to shine. We have real football. The Hall of Fame game is always ass. I usually don't give a fuck about it, but because it's the Browns, I will watch every single play like a maniac. Gonna be great. Can't wait. And we're gonna break it down in 2 weeks too. By the time we do our next show, there will be multiple Browns preseason games. So we'll have a lot to talk about, and it'll be fun. It's gonna be great. Speaking of the Browns, I want you all watching to vote, either in the comments, also go to the website, and I want everyone on the show here to vote. If you could throw it up, Tim, the Browns are doing a midfield logo again, and they want you, the fans, to decide. Option 1 is that new dog logo that was voted by the fans. Option 2 is the elf that they had last year. Option 3 is the helmet, and option 4 is just a stripe down the middle.
Of course,
if you voted for option 4, you should just
kill yourself.
Yeah, jump off a cliff, because that's
is 4 just one of those like fuck it, throw it up there type things.
Yeah, 4 was almost like they were like shit. I don't know.
I feel like it's gonna backfire. People are gonna vote for that one more often.
Well, no, the one thing people are really pissed about is they're like, why the fuck isn't there a 32?
Yeah.
A Jim Brown midfield thing.
Well, I think they're going to put 32. Like
they're going to put it on the field. I
think they're going to highlight. They're going to put 32 at the 32-yard line and highlight 32.
But that is one thing the fans were like really adamant about. They're like, how about a fucking helmet that says 32 on it?
I wouldn't vote for that, to be honest. Would you?
No, I wouldn't. I've already voted. I voted for the elf again.
Yeah, I voted for 2. Yeah.
Yeah, like I know there are very superstitious people. Usually, I am superstitious.
I'm okay with 3 too because we've had it before as well. But I like 2 more.
Yeah, I don't like the dog. If the dog wins, I'm not going to be really happy.
Put the dog in the end zone. Put the dog like in the end zone if you want to.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
Give me full painted end zones.
Yes.
And if you wanted to say like Cleveland in one, Browns in the other, and one has the helmet, the other end zone has the dog,
and put the dog in the dog pound end zone.
Totally cool with that. But I know there were a lot of people that are like superstitious, and they were pissed off because they're like, I love the elf, but they're like, I don't want it because you know what I think of when I see it. Our home opener last year was against the Jets, where he blew that fucking giant lead, and they're like, that's all I think of is like we sucked on that fucking field with the elf. Like, get rid of it. So that is kind of funny.
Now, give me option. Give me option 2 for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you, Tim. What would you want?
If I had to pick out of these, give me.
You don't like any of these?
Not really. Give me the elf again or the dog. Honestly. The dog I preferred in the end zone.
So enthusiastic, Tim.
The dog I prefer in the end zone.
Tim sounded like he was doing a hostage video.
Why the fuck is 4 on there? This shit looks like
isn't that a waste of time?
Bowl.
That's a fucking waste. Like literally, video games do better jobs at like making shit up. They just have a fucking stripe. Like there was somebody that got paid to come up with these 4. And they were like, here we go, boss. Let's ship it. Let's go. Yeah, it's glitching again. But yeah, no, I would go with 2, albeit you guys know that I love the original OG Elf. I have it tattooed on my body. The one just holding the football, standing still, not this one. But an elf's an elf. I'll take it. It is what it is. What's up, Dave? I would vote for number 2. I hope the elf goes back in the field. Again, I wish they would just go to the original elf logo that like everyone knows with the Cleveland Browns that they actually put on the fucking merch. The fact that they sell the other elf on hats and shirts and everyone loves it. And then they have this one that people don't care about. And that's the one they want to put on the field. I don't get it. I fucking don't understand it. I don't like that dog. We already said it, Dave. You just got here. We would like that dog in the end zone by the dog pound. I think that would look cool down there. If they want to use that fan picked logo, but it should not be at midfield, in my opinion.
I feel like, do we know what's winning yet? Do they have like live?
I don't think so. I don't know. I haven't really checked. They just posted it a couple days ago. Maybe literally, I think it was honestly, I think it was Monday. They threw that up there for everyone to start voting on. I don't know when voting closes. Too? They have it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I think they posted on all the Cleveland Browns official social medias. So check it out. But go vote. Do your part. Option 2, if that's one you like. I mean, vote for whatever the fuck you want. But I like option 2. That's the one I'm going with. That's the one I think is going to win, if I had to guess. I also think that, don't get me wrong, the Browns will not pick the fan favorite. They probably have one in mind. They've already paid somebody to paint it on the field. They have it like ready to go.
We'll probably have some insider like taking a picture when it's getting live painted and be like, oh, here's the winner.
Yeah, because they'll do it before the game against the Bengals week 1. They're not going to do it for the preseason. They never paint the field for the preseason, nor should they. But we'll see which one wins. I'm hoping number 2. Speaking of the Bengals, I got a little thing to switch in here. I don't have a picture for it because who gives a tit? Joe Burrow got a little banged up at practice last week.
Calf injury.
Limping hard and got carted off the field. And then after the practice, Zach Taylor, the head coach, just said, yeah, it was a calf injury. They said it was just some sort of calf injury. They're not really disclosing much. But a calf injury like this could be a few week injury, could be a couple month injury.
Hey, week 1 against the Browns, you can make that a long time injury if you want to.
And that's the number one thing I'm thinking about is he tries to rush back and he's not fully healthy. And a quarterback whose legs aren't working the greatest up against a fresh Myles Garrett, good luck.
Miles wants to eat. So
and you could also then have your backup quarterback. I don't even know who it is. It's still Brandon Allen. I think that's their backup quarterback. At least it was a couple years ago. They could be out there rolling with their backup quarterback week 1 against the Browns.
He's got to be nervous though, because potentially is what contract here he's going to be playing for, right?
Yeah, Justin Herbert. We didn't even talk about this. Justin Herbert got fucking paid, and Joe Burrow is next in line to get that huge contract from that draft class. And everyone said, okay, currently Justin Herbert is the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, highest paid player, I think actually.
Yes.
And everyone just going, and he will be until Joe Burrow gets his contract, because Joe Burrow will, of course, make more money.
He makes it to the end of the season.
And now, he's already hurt. I mean, the Bengals have got to be a little worried. He blew his ACL out year 1. He had the appendicitis right before the season last year. He was a little slow starting. Now he gets this calf injury that could be lingering for the entire season, depending on how well it heals. Could cost him a couple of weeks of the regular season, which is not good for a team.
Most non-contact injuries ever by a player, I think.
Dave is calling it Joey B ready and healthy for the season.
Joey B. Oh, Joe Burrow. Okay, sorry.
I don't know about that. We'll see, because calf injuries like that linger. They do not go away for the season. No. You're going to have to play with that for the entire year. It's just a matter of how healthy you are.
It's just blood in the water for defensive players right now.
Yeah.
They know he's not going to probably run the ball.
He won't be as mobile.
He won't be as mobile, so they're going to go right after him. And we all know the offensive line of the Bengals is not the best.
No.
So.
And hey, I'm not telling you guys what to do, but if you're Myles Garrett, go for the leg when you tackle.
Sweep the leg, Johnny. Sweep the leg.
Go low. So yeah, Joe Burrow got banged up. At first, honestly, I thought ACL, like Achilles, ACL.
I thought Achilles for sure.
He started hobbling, fucking dropped, and had to get carted off. So I'm like, dude, he's done. Like, he can't walk. And they're like, oh, just calf injury. He's fine. So,
I didn't cheer for an injury because I'm not that, evil. But
no,
part of me was like, When
I saw it, my first thought was just like, oh shit, the division just got wide open. That's all I thought of, was that the Bengals are clearly going to be the favorites from everybody to be the division winners.
They are picked right now to be division winners. And
most people have it Bengals, Ravens, Browns, Steelers in any order for the Browns and Steelers. I have
no idea why they have the Ravens. What do they see that we don't see?
They have a good defense. I'll give them that. They have Patrick Queen's a good linebacker. They traded for Roquan Smith, a good linebacker. Defensive line is okay. They've got David Ajabo from Michigan, who's now fully healthy. Who knows what he's going to be because he had a nasty injury in the offseason last year. They've got a good defense. I'll give them that. Offensively, it's Lamar Jackson. It's fucking Odell Beckham. Like, I'm not afraid of that offense personally. Don't get me wrong. Lamar Jackson, talented player, great running quarterback, not getting any younger.
No.
Not getting any healthier. Just got paid a shitload of money. Maybe he's not as aggressive. Maybe he is going to start to think twice about taking those hits because he knows he might be able to get another contract in a few years. If he keeps getting banged up, he's definitely not making any money. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens because that's the other thing. Last year, there were reports that he could have played.
Oh, we knew he could have played. We knew he was sitting out on purpose.
He could have played in the playoffs for them and didn't. And there were a lot of people that probably rubbed the wrong way in the Ravens organization. I know it would for me. If that's my teammate, if I'm like, dude, this guy's fucking completely bailing on us because he's worried about his money. The Bengals went from minus 125 to plus 120 after the Burrow injury. So I don't know if I would say he's ready and healthy for the season there, Dave. That's a little wishful thinking. On a calf injury, that's not something like...
So the Bengals were the favorite week one?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
Unless he means division.
Probably division, I would assume.
I'm not sure.
I thought we were the favorites.
Yeah, Steve, is that for week one or is that for the division? I don't remember.
I thought we were favorites week one.
No, we weren't. I think we're like -2. Like
really?
the Bengals are the favorites in week one, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But either way, yeah, you hate to see it, but
you know who they have at the bottom of the division, right?
The Steelers.
Oh, the Steelers.
Yeah, naturally.
Just making sure Dave knows that.
That's another one, though. Kyle did briefly touch on that, and we won't spend much time on it because it's not worth it. That catch by George Pickens it's funny to me that the Steelers are going crazy over a fucking training camp highlight where it was pass interference like a son of a bitch. Like, if you're that physical in an NFL game, they're throwing. Has any Steeler fan ever actually watched a football game to think that would be okay in the NFL?
It was both offensive and defensive pass interference.
It would have been offsetting, which means no play. And the other thing too is I'm watching these crazy catches from Steelers wide receivers, and the funny thing about it is the passes are so fucking off the mark from Kenny Pickett. They are bad.
That's why they're making these great catches.
Like, I saw a clip earlier. I got some buddies that are Steeler fans, and they've been like retweeting some camp highlights, and one of them was like, "Oh, Deontay Johnson can make crazy catches," and it's a video of Deontay Johnson doing this like one-handed on the sideline, like barely got it. And I'm like, that was just a fucking horrible pass. Like, Kenny Pickett's just not a good quarterback.
There's a difference if you're trying to throw a guy open, like try to get him down the field further, and you're trying to throw it away from the defender because you need him to get that ball. That's different, right? In training camp, those passes should be on the numbers, whether it's picked off or not. That's what you're practicing, right?
And that's the funny thing is there's a highlight clip from Atlanta, and shout out to Dub, Atlanta Falcons fan. There's a clip that went around of this great move.
Browns are +1 at home. That's what I thought.
Okay, that makes sense. Excuse me. Kyle Pitts. There's a video of Kyle Pitts doing a fucking sick move on a linebacker or whoever was covering him. I don't even know the player. And wide open, cuts across, wide open. It's a one-on-one drill, so let's take it with a grain of salt. He wasn't, there wasn't a linebacker to get the ball over. He
safety
just
coming down
one-on-one. And what the hell's his name? Desmond Ridder fucking throws a duck, like fucking way off target. Kyle Pitts couldn't catch it. It was horrible. And everyone's like ripping Desmond Ridder for this horrible throw. And they're like, please let Kyle Pitts get a quarterback that can get him the ball. Like, he'll be a great tight end if he could just get the fucking ball. And then you watch a clip of these crazy catches from the Steelers, and it's the same thing. They're horrible passes that the guys are just making acrobatic catches on, and everyone's going crazy in Steeler Nation. And
guys, the pass that Odell caught from Eli back in the day, the notorious catch, wasn't a great throw.
No, Odell had a horrible throw.
Odell had to throw himself up there to bring it down.
And there was no pass interference. He caught that, and it was a real game touchdown.
Yeah.
It wasn't practice.
It wasn't a great throw. It was just him trying to do what he could to get that ball.
I just love that Steeler fans have to get that excited for practice. That makes me really
practice.
Happy.
We're talking about practice.
Makes me very, very happy that's all they're going to really be excited about this year, because Kenny Pickett's not that good. I hate to break it to everybody. He was a game manager for you guys last year. Sure, they won games. Not knocking that, not disputing that. They beat the Browns in the final game of the season where the Browns clearly gave up. I mean, let's be honest.
You're also going against Joey Porter Jr., who's a rookie who's not. He's okay. He's not.
Yeah, he's
great,
an okay corner. He's not
great.
like a game-changing corner. I think they got him in the second round when a lot of people had him pegged to go in the first. So clearly, there's some issues with the guy. He's not that great.
I heard
And
his dad's a real bitch, but
yeah, his dad's a punk bitch. And yeah, I mean, it's a fucking practice catch. Who gets that fucking excited about it? Try that in a game. That's all I can say. Try that move and don't get a penalty in a game. That's all I'll say. Moving on to some somber parts.
Oh God.
This is something that happened crazy right after our last episode. Also, shout out to LeBron James, my favorite basketball player of all time. His young son, Bronny, practicing at USC, goes into cardiac arrest, which, for the record, is different than a heart attack. There are people out there that just keep saying he had a heart attack, but they are two different things. Honestly, the fucked up thing about this is initially, if you go on Twitter or whatever, X, now it's called X. If you go,
gonna give it to you.
I love DMX. All right, Pete. But if you go on any social media post about Bronny James, there's always like the idiots that are like, it was the vaccine. But
no shit, we don't talk, right?
Conspiracy theory COVID shot.
We don't talk. We don't talk about our notes, but that's funny you bring it up.
There.
Did you see what Grape said?
No, of course.
Yeah, Grape. Everything's a conspiracy with Grape. We all know that.
Check to Jumanji.
Yeah. However, Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel did a piece on this years ago, before COVID, about how often young kids go into cardiac arrest on the field, whether it's a kid in high school, college, whatever. These kids, it happens a lot more than it should, just by comparison to how many athletes there are. They're all in great shape, and it just could be as simple as there's a little something off with their heart.
If it's an irregular heartbeat over a certain period of time, they consider it cardiac arrest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what basically happens to these young kids, and this issue happens to them, and it's been happening a long time.
Oh, Chipper and Dave are on a date.
Dave Walenchek?
They're at the Foundry having some pizza.
Oh, nice. That's cute. I like that. They always complain that they don't get invited to things together. I love it.
And there's a bottle of Ensure back there too that they're drinking.
I'm shocked.
Good for them.
Good for them. They're going to get the senior discount on their check. That's nice.
Use their Golden Buckeye card.
I'm so happy for those two.
Oh, that's cool.
It'd be nice if they brought us a pizza.
But they snuggle afterwards.
An ad read sheet that was up to date.
Probably talking about that catch from George Pickens.
Guaranteed. They're over there fucking. They're under the table jerking each other like, oh, dude, did you see that fucking George
Play it again.
Pickens catch?
Play it again. Slow down. Slow.
At the rate, Kenny Pickett might throw 10 touchdowns this year. A whole 10. He might get into double digits because he fucking threw 6 last year in 10 starts. That's fucking embarrassing.
Sorry, I got off on a tangent there.
That's fine. They deserve it. I hope they're listening to it and it's loud. Porno, sex. Just start yelling up dirty things that they're listening to.
Here's my honest question with this. So this sucks, right? His age, having a heart issue, right?
Yep.
I get it. He's a hard worked athlete, right? Who your dad is, who he is. I'm sure you're working on every single day, twice, 3 times a day.
And again, he was at USC working out because he's going there in the fall.
Right.
So this was probably his first time doing a hard practice for a college team.
Do you think people now, scouts included, are going to kind of be like,
Oh, that's a red flag for sure.
Yeah.
That's something that he's going to be
this
monitored.
This is going to hurt him now, right?
It depends. I mean, what they're going to have to do is you look at a guy like DeMar Hamlin.
Yeah.
Happened to him just a few months ago.
He died. That's a fake guy.
He was out for a long time. We thought he was in a hospital in a coma. I thought for sure, excuse me, I'm gassy today. Only in the upper part.
Thank God it's only in the upper.
He was legally, I think, dead for a while.
Yes.
And he was in a coma. And I said it on the show and I'm glad I was wrong, but I said, I don't think this guy will ever even talk again. He will never wake up.
Yeah.
And the dude was at practice last week. He's back on a football field. So I think if Bronny can get cleared by doctors like DeMar Hamlin did, then he'll be fine. He'll be able to play again. It could have just been an irregularity. Like you said, something happened. His heart was just overworked for a long period of time for practice. And he'll now have, he's a James. He's going to have the best doctors in the world checking him regularly.
Yeah,
so if he can ever get cleared to return to full sports, I think he'll be fine. And they'll just keep an eye on him.
My next point was kind of opens up for him to drop a little bit further into the Cavs lap too.
And that's the other thing too, is he already wasn't probably going to be a high draft pick because his just overall talent and size.
Yeah.
So now this makes him a 2nd round pick, give or take. Might go earlier just because of the name, but I think he's going to be fine. I really do.
What sucks for him is he's going to get drafted by a team hoping to bring his dad with him. That's what sucks. Is that he's not going to get drafted based on his merit alone. It's because they want his dad.
Is how is LeBron going to rig this? Because LeBron wants to play with his kid.
What are you trying to say? NBA's not rigged.
The fuck it isn't.
Jumanji.
If the Charlotte Hornets try to draft him, LeBron's going to be no fucking way am I playing in Charlotte. He is picking the team that his kid's going to. So this is all going to be worked
You'll
out.
see
behind the
LeBron
scenes.
walk up on the stage and put it back into the thing. Like, let's try that again. Next.
Like Adam Silver walks up to the stage all happy, and LeBron's in the front row going, nope.
No.
Next. Like he gets it's like Tinder. LeBron's gonna be down there swiping on the teams, like, yep.
Absolutely.
But yeah, he 100%. It's fucking rigged as shit. The NBA is so.
I
rigged.
hope he gets back to healthy. He's good to go. He's clear. Because I'd like to see him at UFC. I want to see how well he does on the college level.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't follow high school basketball at all. I just go off of like highlights and shit like that. And everything I've seen is basically Bronny James is a very good player, but
I heard this. I heard the youngest
younger
is better
one,
than
what is it, Maximus or whatever?
Yeah, he's better than.
He's
Bronny.
better than Bronny. So it'll be cool for
Bryce.
Bryce
Maximus.
Bryce Maximus.
Maximus Aurelius.
Whatever.
I'm the leader of the 14th
They
Army.
have too many
That's
names. I don't know.
Gladiator.
How many kids? He has 3 kids, right?
He has a
think you have
girl.
4.
His 2 boys and a girl. I thought.
It might be just 3.
I don't know. Either way, so Bryce, that's what I was thinking of. Whatever. It doesn't he has a weird middle name. It is Bryce Maximus or something like
I
that.
have
Then
no
his name.
idea.
I think
You're
I
the
don't
one
know.
obsessed with the guy, so I figured you know
I
the
don't know their
entire
fucking names.
family history.
Anyway, yeah, the youngest boy is supposed to be a better basketball player than.
He's
Bronny
also
James.
taller than Bronny, I think, too.
So Bronny looks like he could be a good player, but not like he's not a franchise-altering player. So I don't think he's not going to be that coveted by NBA teams. The only reason you take a Bronny James is for LeBron James.
Correct.
So either Bronny's going to be an LA Laker or he's going to be a Cleveland Cavalier. Those are his only 2 options because those are the only teams
not going
LeBron
anywhere
will play
else.
on for the rest of his career.
That's it.
Book it. So kudos to Bronny for also though, because from what I saw was he only had to spend like a day in the hospital and they released him pretty early. He's good to
so
go.
that's why you probably don't think it's anything serious.
No, just has to get cleared
yeah.
by the doctors. They'll monitor him, make sure everything's okay. We'll see what happens. Scary, but kudos to USC also for being there with the AED and defibrillator and all that shit and ready to help him out. And they saved his life. Now back to the NFL. A couple more things. Some owners and coaches are putting their foot in their mouths, and
I don't know.
I love it.
I kind of liked it.
I like it a lot. I
like
love when people talk shit and stir the pot, especially
It's like old school talk.
when it's somebody going against the New York Jets.
Yeah.
I love it. I've been roasting my
but
buddies
he's only
about
like an
this.
offensive he's only like he's offensive coordinator.
He
right?
runs their entire
Yeah,
offense
yeah,
now.
yeah.
So Nathaniel Hackett was the head coach of the Denver Broncos last year, got fired in his lone year with the Broncos. And we talked about it many a times on the show. You didn't get the Sean Payton? Oh, yeah, there it is. And
there he be.
yeah, so Sean Payton had some comments about Nathaniel Hackett's coaching job with the Denver Broncos last year, because Sean Payton is, of course, the new head coach of the Denver Broncos. And he basically said that it was the worst coaching job he's ever seen in like NFL history. He just roasted Nathaniel Hackett in the way he ran the Denver Broncos. And immediately they went to the Jets and they were like, what do you think of these comments from Sean Payton? And they're talking to Robert Saleh, and he had some fucking lame comment that was like, if you ain't got haters, you ain't popping or something like that. He was trying to be funny. He's just a fucking idiot. And then the other thing that I made fun of my Jets fans friends for was Robert Saleh was like, oh yeah, I can't wait to play the Broncos in week 4 or week 5. I forgot what he said, but they don't actually play the Broncos until the other week. Like he didn't even get the fucking schedule right on his own team. And it's like, you're the head coach and you don't even know your own fucking team schedule.
I enjoyed furthermore the Will Smith comments out of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Keep my coach's name out of your mouth. Like I'm waiting for someone to come up and start slapping someone or whatever.
I'm all for it. I love when coaches.
Sean Payton's an
I
old,
love drama.
Sean Payton's an old school coach, right? He's been around for
Doesn't
a long
give
time.
a fuck.
He doesn't give a fuck. He's known as one of the not the greatest coaches. He's a good coach. He's known
Very
as a
good coach. I mean, he took a very average to below average Saints team, even when Drew Brees was declining in his
and made them play
talent
every
and
year.
still kept them in the playoff hunt every year.
Yeah.
And that's a division where they were going up at one point against Cam Newton, Matt Ryan, Tom Brady at quarterback. Like there were some good teams they had to go against. Jameis Winston, even when he was with the Buccaneers, had a couple good seasons. Like there weren't bad teams.
But let's think about it. So he's saying comments that everyone agrees with, right? We all knew that the coaching job last year, the Broncos team last year was fucking trash.
We said it. Every fucking social media group, every NFL outlet, whatever, all said this Broncos team is a fucking disaster. And like when Nathaniel Hackett got fired, everyone was like, why did it take so long to fire him?
The fact that you had your Russell Wilson in his own like office on like the second floor, he was doing weird shit all over dips on the airplane. So there was no structure. There was no management. There was nothing.
And
so
the worst part, they sucked.
Yes.
That was the icing on the cake.
You had a
is
talented football team, and you were
traded
horrible.
a lot of shit to get Russell Wilson.
And
your only job
who had
was
a better
to win.
record last year? Them or the Seahawks?
And the Broncos ended up having a top 5 draft pick they couldn't even fucking use because it went to the Seahawks.
Yep. Yeah, so I'm curious to see what the Broncos do this year. My understanding from what little I've seen, it looks like Russell Wilson's lost some weight. He's gotten back.
I heard he's in great shape.
Said he's doing well in camp. It looks like the team's coming together. So I'm curious to see what they do. They might be a good team. That's going to be a tough division.
No, the entire AFC is actually, we'll talk about this next week or next episode when we do our breakdown of the AFC, but the AFC is a fucking juggernaut.
It's a loaded division.
There are a lot of good teams in the AFC and a lot of teams with high expectations. So there's only so many playoff spots, and we're going to talk about it all in 2 weeks. I loved Sean Payton's comments. I love when coaches just don't give a fuck, throw people under the bus. Like, I am all for that kind of stuff. I fucking love it.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Speaking of people saying shit they probably shouldn't, there is some drama in Indianapolis, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you. So apparently, Jonathan Taylor wants a new contract, and the Colts decided to say that he has a back injury and he can't practice.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with my back.
Theories, yeah.
And then the rumor is that he's negotiating or holding out for a new contract. And then Jim Irsay decides to go on Twitter of all places, or X, whatever.
Was this after a couple lines of coke he snorted, or
it might have been during. He was in the middle of a couple lines, and he decided to tweet out about how there's a CBA in place that's supposed to like keep everything at a level for positions and things like that. And he's like, and for guys to, betray the CBA and this and that, and he's just roasting, and everyone knows he's talking about Jonathan Taylor specifically. And he has no shame as the owner of the team to call out arguably his best player who just wants more money because he's in a position. We talked about this 2 weeks ago. The running back position is a dangerous one. They are vastly underpaid. They consistently get hurt. And these guys just want some financial security. And Jonathan Taylor wants that, rightfully so. He was one of the best players in football the last couple of years.
Well, last year was trash, but yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, last year wasn't good. I said one of the best. But the year before that, no, he was the best player in football. I mean, he was the offensive player of the year, I think. If you had him on fantasy, you almost guaranteed to win your championship because of how fucking good he was. So the fact that the owner of the team, not like a media guy, not some, anonymous source, it is the owner is roasting you on fucking Twitter. Not a good sign for the Colts this year. I don't think this is a repairable relationship.
Did you his comment something about like if he died tomorrow or something like that?
Yeah, Jim Irsay was like, if I died tomorrow, no one would care or something like that. He's a fucking sad dude. Like, he's all drugged up and drunk and like
he is always like red, sweating, everything.
He's always on some sort of narcotic.
He's on a 5-day bender every time you see him.
Yeah, whether it's drinking, drugs, whatever, he is always on something and always fucked up.
Here he says, if I die tonight and Jonathan Taylor is out of the league, no one's going to miss us. The league goes on. We know that. The National Football League rolls on. It doesn't matter who comes and who goes. It's a privilege to be part of it.
Yeah, that's sad as fuck. Like, who says that?
Yeah, so needless to say, if you have Jonathan Taylor or whatever, you just don't keep him.
And that's the other thing too,
or
is
bench or stash him, or keep him and stash him because he's not going to play this year probably.
It's a weird time because, like, I have a fantasy football draft in a few weeks. I'm in a couple leagues this year.
Yeah.
And what do you do with Jonathan Taylor? I'd be pissed if I took him in the first round and the dude doesn't touch the field.
Well, he fucked me last year. I'm not keeping him this year.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, what do you do? Do you even take him? Do you roll the dice in like the second round? Like, what do you do?
You release him and hope you can pick him back up in a later round and get better value on him if you have to keep again?
Yeah.
Right?
If you're in a keeper league, like for me, I'm not in a, like,
it's a repick league every year. Okay.
It is, but I get to keep one player. Like, I'm more than likely going to be keeping Deshaun Watson because he'll only cost me my 6th round pick.
That's pretty solid.
So I'm okay with doing that, rolling the dice with Watson. I expect him to have a good year. So I will gladly do that. So I don't have to worry about the quarterback position. But with Jonathan Taylor, like, I won the championship last year in this league, so I'm picking 10th. So I'll have back-to-back picks. Like, do I roll the dice and take him in the second round? I don't think so.
No,
there will be better players.
Yeah.
But if Jonathan Taylor starts playing week 1, getting him at the 11th pick is a fucking steal.
This running back situation is going to get magnified this year. It's going to be a huge topic.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they're already talking about how the running backs are doing Zoom calls. Everyone's getting each other's backs. And let's not forget, guess who might be up for another contract next year?
Nick Chubb. A lot of people are saying, is this Nick Chubb's last year as a Cleveland Brown?
Yes.
Could be.
So this could be something we're going to be talking about next year on our team too.
The one thing I will say about Nick Chubb, and again, maybe I'll be wrong in a year, he seems like he is a team player. All he cares about is winning. money. He's made plenty. He doesn't strike me as a greedy kind of guy who's going to want a lot of money. He, knock on wood, hasn't had an injury history or anything like that. Jonathan Taylor's been banged up. Saquon Barkley's had injuries. All these running backs, Dalvin Cook, all these running backs that wanted this huge contract and all this money are injury-prone running backs, which I understand why they're worried about their next paycheck because they can't stay healthy. So if they get hurt, that's going to cost them money. Nick Chubb has never really had to worry about that. So
plus we did take care of him in the extension, like, 2 years ago? Last
year? They took care of him. He's made plenty of money. I could see him now being like, okay, I understand I have to take a little bit of a pay cut to stay on this team because of the money we're paying to Miles, Deshaun, Denzel Ward, whoever. And I think he'll do the right thing. I hope.
Plus, you're also going to probably see a restructure of Deshaun Watson's contract next year as well, too.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, is Browns fans are going to have to kind of accept the fact that Nick Chubb won't be here forever. Running back shelf lives are very, very short. And we're not going to be a run-based offense anymore. I hope Browns fans can realize, we'll talk about this next week, but I hope Browns fans are going into this season understanding that we are not going to be a run-focused offense anymore. This is Deshaun Watson's team. There's a reason we let Kareem Hunt go. We don't have a bunch of, we don't have the 1-2 punch of great running backs anymore. We have David Njoku. We have Amari Cooper. We traded for Elijah Moore. We have Donovan Peoples-Jones. We drafted Cedric Tillman.
Yep.
We're going to be passing the ball.
Yeah. You see
we
what the
paid
offense
Deshaun Watson a lot of money not to hand the ball off.
Yeah, agree. I'm curious to see what happens.
Browns fans need to kind of realize that, like, as much as I love Nick Chubb, I want him to be here forever. I want him to retire a Brown. I want him to go to the Hall of Fame. We talked about that earlier. If he's not on the team next year, I wouldn't be surprised, though. I don't want that to happen, but just brace yourselves for that possibility because it definitely could happen. So yeah, Jim Irsay, fucking talking his shit.
Dude's gonna have an overdose.
Running his next year, best player out of town, potentially. Again, I don't think that's a repairable relationship. I think that's a done deal.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor will be either sitting out. It's kind of like the Deshaun Watson situation now, where you have a player who is disgruntled, hates ownership, and will just say, fuck it, I'm not playing then till I'm gone.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
he'll ride the contract out.
Who blinks first?
He'll extend his years on his body because he won't be getting hit, and he can get a good contract when he's a free agent.
Yeah. Somebody's going to want him. Well, if he doesn't play this year, that's the other thing too, is he'll be voiding his own contract. So he will still technically be property of the Colts.
So he should play one game and then sit out the rest of the year?
No, he has to honor his contract. So he could, that's the other thing too, is if the Colts are the ones saying he has a back injury and he's claiming he doesn't have an injury, then I would just be like, I'd be like the dude in Friday, my neck, my back, my neck and my back. And I would just be hurt and I wouldn't do shit.
Just walk in slow every week to train. That'd be such a boring season though, just to be like, not play a football game.
Yeah. I think the Colts are going to suck anyway. They're going in with Gardner Minshew.
What are you talking about? They got an amazing quarterback they drafted. They're going to go far.
That team sucks. But yeah, we're going to see what happens. Jonathan Taylor on another team could be scary. I just hope he stays the fuck out of the AFC.
Yes.
If he goes anywhere, get him the fuck out of the AFC. Speaking of guys getting the fuck out of their teams, the MLB trade deadline happened yesterday.
Hot ending to the trade deadline.
It was crazy. The last few like half hour or so of the deadline, a lot of shit went down.
You think Verlander just left his house in Houston and just?
Yeah, he loves Houston. I guarantee he still has property down there. Like it was an easy transition for him. So Justin Verlander leaves the Houston Astros last year after they win the World Series and goes to the Mets. Gets a huge contract. What's up? Oh, no worries. He leaves for the Mets, gets a huge contract. The Mets turn into the highest payroll in baseball. They're spending over $300 million. They have this super team. My buddies that are Jets.
At least Lindor has his contract, right? He doesn't care. The rest of the house is burning.
He's making so much money and not playing so well that's why nobody wanted him, so they couldn't trade him. My buddies that are Jets fans are also diehard Mets fans, so I have been fucking rolling making fun of this disaster that is the New York Mets. They went all in. They spent a fuck ton of money. Again, their payroll was over $300 million. They had Max Scherzer. They had Justin Verlander. They have Lindor. They've got Pete Alonso.
They had the closer that was really good,
They had, Edwin Diaz, who got hurt, the trumpet boy. That's another one I laughed my ass off when he got hurt. Their season's in shambles. They're terrible. They're a really bad team. And they decided to sell. They are in a full fucking rebuild. They traded Max Scherzer to the Texas Rangers. They traded Justin Verlander back to Houston. They're done. They apparently Max Scherzer kind of threw him under the bus today and was like, yeah, the Mets talked to us and said that 2024 is going to be a transition year for them. So next year in the offseason, I expect them to try to move Lindor, to try to move Pete Alonso. There's no reason to keep these guys.
No.
If you're in a quote unquote transition year, because Lindor's got to be approaching 30, if not already in his 30s. I don't know how old he is. I know baseball you can play for a while. That's not old by any stretch. Pete Alonso, same thing. Got to be upper 20s, maybe 30.
I'm surprised they didn't move Alonso. I thought he'd be another commodity they would have got rid of.
He's a fan favorite though, and since he's homegrown, he might be a guy that they keep because
Yeah.
they're like, well, we want somebody like a David Wright.
Someone to put asses in the seats.
Yeah, you need somebody to do that.
I think they realize that in that division they're in, you're
not beating the Braves.
You're chasing Atlanta, right?
Yeah, you're never going to beat the Braves.
Atlanta's going to be good for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
They have a young, very talented team,
and that's what the Mets are trying to replicate because the Mets traded for a bunch of prospects who, they're for what it's worth, they're ranked relatively high, but again, you don't know what a prospect really is until they touch the major league field. So they traded for a bunch of prospects. They're in a full rebuild cycle. I love it. That team can go fuck themselves. I hate the Mets. I hate the Jets. I hate the Knicks. I hate everything about New York that my friends love. I love roasting them all the time about it. And it makes me really happy to see the Mets sell everything.
Speaking of the Braves, though, they got better. Brad Hand traded to the Braves.
Yep.
Hell of a closer right there.
Ex-Cleveland Guardian or Indian at the time. Brad Hand is now with the Atlanta Braves. When he left Cleveland, he wasn't that great anymore. It was kind of like the Andrew Miller thing where he's still a good player, but just not the dominant player that he once was. So a good acquisition for them. Another funny incident was the Tigers. Their pitcher, Eduardo Rodriguez, has a no-trade clause. They asked him, hey, the Dodgers want you. Do you want to go play for the Dodgers? Would you waive your no-trade clause to go from Detroit to Los Angeles? He said, no, I'm good. Nope.
That is hilarious to me, though.
Everyone's wondering, like, why the fuck would you want to stay in Detroit? And he came out, they interviewed him after the fact. I just read it before I got here, and they were like, why would you do that? And he's like, nothing against the Dodgers at all. I have no ill will. Like, it's nothing against them. He's like, it's just what's best for my family. I didn't want to move everybody to LA, and I didn't want to change the location, stuff like that. Kind of hate that answer, if I'm being honest.
Really? Why?
You're a pro athlete.
Sure.
You're a baseball player. You're making a ton of money. You're a pitcher. You get asked to go to one of the best teams in baseball to potentially win a World Series or stay in Detroit.
So he just loves the game. That's why. For the love of the game, man. For the love of the game.
If he loved the game, he would go to Los Angeles to keep playing that game in playoff games and win a World Series.
Well, he just cares about
He
playing.
loves the cheap city of Detroit and how there's not as many taxes. It's not as expensive to live there as it is in Los Angeles, is what I think. I think it was strictly because he's like, I don't want to spend that kind of money. And I think that's a shitty thing to do because that means you're only playing for the money and you're not playing to win. And if I'm a Tigers fan, I'm pissed about that because the Los Angeles Dodgers, what's really fucking crazy to think about with a team like that, they're consistently one of the best teams in baseball, consistently a World Series favorite. And they have a top 10 farm system also. So they just have talent upon talent in their minor league system, which if I'm the Tigers, if I'm a Tigers fan, I'm pissed off we didn't get Eduardo Rodriguez traded and take some of their talent to help my team in the future. Instead, we have this guy who we're never going to win anything with anyway.
But that's the joy of the no trade clause, right?
I mean, that's
why
I don't like
Your
him.
choice.
I don't think a team should ever give a player a no trade clause. I think
it is funny though, because didn't he go and pitch against them the next day?
Yeah, he pitched. I think he actually pitched today
against the Dodgers, right?
I don't know. Actually, are they playing each other?
I thought they were.
Don't know the schedule.
I thought they were. I thought that was made the story even more funnier was the fact that they were playing the Dodgers.
That would be pretty funny if that is the case. I honestly don't know.
Let's see here.
Let's take a look. We got I gotta look up some MLB scores here for everybody. So we had yesterday the Dodgers the Dodgers played the Athletics.
Oh, okay. All right.
Tigers were facing the Pirates.
Oh, that's right. Okay, never mind that. I thought someone said they're playing each other or whatever. But no, so I mean, good for him, I guess. But no, I see your point. Maybe my thought was that he just doesn't care where he plays, but he wants to stay and not move his family. He just wants to show up every day and play a game that he loves playing.
No, it is because the cost of living in Detroit is pennies compared to living in Los Angeles is what I think is the case. And he got the win today, Eduardo Rodriguez. I'll give him that. They won. They beat the Pirates 6-3. He is now 7-5 on the year and stuck with the fucking Tigers, though, of all the teams. I just don't get that. Again, I'd be pissed if I'm a Tigers fan to not waive your no trade clause because, like, come on, dude, get the fuck out of here. We're trying to make the team better. A couple guys who had no trade clauses to waive with the Cleveland Guardians are fucking gone. The Guardians, albeit being only a half game or yesterday at the time, a full game out of first place, not that far out, of the division, the owners decided to say, we don't have any faith in this team. Let's fucking call it. We're punting on the season. So a week ago, they traded Ahmed Rosario to the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Which was an okay trade, right? I mean, it was...
which at the time you look at it and you go, okay, we traded with the Dodgers. Again, I just talked about it, a team with a really good farm system. So you're thinking, okay, we're going to get a little prospect.
No.
Who did we get? One
Thor.
of the oldest players in baseball.
Thor.
Noah Syndergaard, who is literally old as fuck, washed as fuck. I'll give him all the credit in the world, though. He pitched really well on
had a hell of a game with 0
Monday night.
strikeouts.
He had 0 strikeouts, but he went 6 1/3 inning, I think, or 5 1/3 inning.
2 hits or 3 hits.
Gave up a few hits, 0 runs, took a liner to the shin, and he left the game.
Great. He's going to be out for like fucking 2 months now.
And no, that's why they took him out of the game. And he actually, that's the one good thing is that guys love Tito. This was his first game with the Guardians, and he came out right away and was like, now I have a lot of respect for Tito Francona because he took me out of the game. And he's like, I've been battling injuries for years. He's like, when you're a pitcher, you take a hit like that, it may not look that bad on TV, but when you're stepping on it, you might compensate because you're like, fuck, that kind of hurts. So now you're throwing harder.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's how you hurt your shoulder. That's how you hurt this. So he's like, they saw that I was in a little bit of pain. They took me out right away. He's like, I really respect that because I could have kept going, but then who knows how, like, what that would have done. He's like, so I really appreciate them doing that. So he came out of the game. The Guardians, of course, then blew the game and they got swept by the Astros. And Noah Syndergaard, though, did have a really good start. So we'll give him all the credit in the world. And then, so you think about
This
it.
has been a hell of a trade, 6 years ago?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Like, he was one of the best pitchers in baseball. One time he was throwing like 100 miles an hour just by fucking flicking his wrist.
Now he's doing like 85 and barely getting to the plate.
And again, this trade was way too late. Then this is all we got. We didn't get Noah Syndergaard
1 for 1
and a prospect or two, even if it was like a low-level prospect. We got nothing else. So Thor is just going to be gone. I think he's going to be a free agent.
This had to be just a money thing, right?
It was, I mean, Ahmed Rosario, we have a shitload of middle infielders in our farm system, the Guardians do. Speaking of top farm systems, the Guardians actually, according to most professional websites and like MLB people, the Guardians have a top 5 farm system.
Yeah.
We still have a loaded talent in the minor leagues. And most of that talent is pitching and middle infielders. We have a shitload of shortstops and we have a shitload of second basemen. So Ahmed Rosario was, of course, our shortstop. And his bat was slow this year. It was starting to pick up recently. And he just was, it was a fact, actually, it's stats. He is the worst fielding shortstop in Major League Baseball.
Perfect.
Where last year he was not. Last year he was really good. And the Guardians, for their defense under Terry Francona, was the worst defensive shortstop in baseball. Contract year, Guardians weren't going to bring him back. There were rumors in the offseason they were going to offer him a contract extension. It never happened for whatever reason. And I think the Guardians are pretty happy that they didn't give him a contract extension because now he's gone. So and again, we got fucking nothing for it, though. No offense to Thor.
We bring it up in his place.
So Arias is starting
right.
For him. And we have a lot of guys, though. Like we have multiple people that could come up. So it's going to be I think we're going to see a mixture of people to see who's going to turn into our everyday shortstop next year. So just kind of brace yourself for that, especially with the ownership punting on the season. And now you're going to see a lot of minor leaguers coming up to play because that's all we want to do now is just see what the future is.
What we have for next year, who we can get rid of next year now.
Yeah, exactly. So
I really am surprised they did not trade Bieber. I'm really surprised.
Injured. I think if he weren't injured, he would have been a goner.
Yeah.
But teams were like, nah, we're good. All of his, like, analytically speaking, all of his numbers are coming down. So, like, he was already going to be a tough trade. Now, on top of it, you throw in he's hurt, and you know his injury has kept being extended. He went from the last time we talked, he was on the 15-day DL, and I remember saying this is probably the last time you see Shane Bieber in a Guardians uniform. And then the next day, they announced it's now the 60-day DL.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't think he's coming. I don't think he was going to get traded because of that injury. Because he's not going to be able to come back until like September. Same with Tristan McKenzie. So teams are
just in time for playoff push.
Yeah, but that's assuming he comes back actually healthy. So I think other teams are like, fuck it, I'm not giving up shit for a guy who might not even be able to pitch for us. So that's why Shane Bieber is still a Guardian. But thank you to arbitration. We do have another arbitration year with Bieber where we could keep him next year for team-friendly cost. And I think they're going to do that. And maybe trade him next year because then he'll be a free agent in the offseason. To show you, so trading Ahmed Rosario was not a trade that makes you think we're giving up.
Right.
Acquiring Thor with the banged up rotation, as I said, Shane Bieber hurt,
Kind of
Tristan
made
McKenzie
sense.
hurt. Here's a guy who can come in. He's going to eat up innings, and he's going to help your bullpen from having to pitch a ton because your bullpen's getting tired. Made sense. So I'm like, okay, they're still going for a push.
It's a Band-Aid move, right?
Yeah. They're still going to go for a push. And then our best pitcher over the last few weeks has been Aaron Savali. Not a reliable pitcher. I'm not going to sit up here right now and tell you that Aaron Savali was some game-changing guy that we, needed to hold on to, and he was the bread and butter, the heartbeat of our team. I will not say that. But he was, technically speaking, our best pitcher for the last few weeks. And the Guardians said, see you later, Aaron. They traded him to Tampa Bay for first base prospect Kyle Manzardo the Gardo, everyone's calling him. That's going to be his new nickname. He is a lefty power hitting, a left-handed power hitting first baseman.
Is he power hitting?
Can be.
Okay.
His average is like 230 right now. So he's swing or miss kind of guy. He is a boomer bust.
It's like Josh Bell. Good thing we still have.
Really cannot hit against lefties. He sucks against lefties. So he's a limited batter, but we got him.
Yay.
The Rays are a very similar organization to the Guardians. They don't spend a lot of money. They groom their own. And if they're willing to give up on a prospect like they did here with Kyle Manzardo, for me, that speaks volumes, because I remember we traded with them and got a first baseman a couple of years ago, and you might remember him, Jake Bowers.
Great guy.
Who was one of their prospects we got.
He was here for a cup of coffee, I think.
He amounted to jack shit because he wasn't very good. The Rays wanted to get rid of him on purpose. So Aaron Savali traded straight up for Kyle Manzardo.
Well, again, 1 for 1.
1 for 1. This time at least. We got a guy under the age of 40. And
is he going to start?
No, he's a minor leaguer. Oh, he's hurt, by the way.
Oh, and he's hurt.
He's on the DL, so he is not even eligible to play yet. But I do think in due time he will come up and be your.
But don't we have Nolan Jones?
No, we traded him in the offseason.
Who's the other first baseman we have that we've been like excited about coming up?
He's not with the team anymore. I know you're talking about.
It was another first baseman that we were excited. We traded him too.
Bobby Bradley. Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, that's right.
We designated him for assignment last year. He's gone. So Bobby Bradley is out of the organization.
Love first basemen, I guess. So.
But again, Bobby Bradley stunk. We got rid of him. Nolan Jones, don't think they should have gotten rid of him. They fucked that up. When you look at that in hindsight, because we'll talk about this next trade the Guardians made too, and then we'll talk about the fucking poor decisions that they made. Josh Bell. Josh Bell was our big free agent signing. They gave him a big contract, paid him a lot of money. He had or has a team option coming up next year. So that means, Tim, if you want to throw that one up there, Josh Bell. No, you're good. He had or has a team option where he can pick it up. The team has no say. He can say, I want this money, and it's like $16 million or something like that. And I thought, there's no fucking way in hell the Guardians are going to be able to trade this guy. There's just no way.
Well, they did.
Yeah, 179 games, Manzardo was hitting 35 homers. So, not great. I mean, better than what we do, because we're not a power hitting team at all.
We're a get on base team. We're not a home run team.
Exactly. And he's doesn't hit for average, hits a decent amount of home runs. I mean, 292 is not bad. I thought it was actually way less than that. I thought I heard somebody say he was hitting like 238. So that's not bad. I didn't look into myself. I was just going off what I heard. So that's my first mistake. But don't know much about the guy. I don't follow prospects because it's something you can, like, I know the Guardians prospects. That's it. I don't know other teams, because there could be a guy who is the second coming. I remember when we traded CC Sabathia and we ended up getting Matt Laporta, and he was the cream of the crop prospect, one of the top prospects in baseball, came up to the majors and stunk.
Yeah, I was.
Michael Brantley ended up being the best player in that trade by a mile. But Matt Laporta was highly coveted. He killed it in the minors and didn't do shit in the majors. So I don't follow teams' prospects. Don't care. Either get to the big leagues and be great, or
we don't give a shit.
I don't care. So Manzardo, I'm just going off what everybody was saying. I saw he struggles against lefties. Batting average is kind of low. I thought he was somewhat a power guy, but 35 home runs in 179 games is not a lot. I mean, I guess that's not bad.
That's Guardian stats there, though.
That's almost one season. And when's the last time we had a guy hit 35 home runs? It's been a while. So that would be, technically, he would be our power hitter on this team if he can do that in a full season here in Cleveland. We'll see. I think he will eventually, if he gets healthy, will be our first baseman for this year, at least for a little bit, because you want to see what you got in this kid. You made this trade. And then speaking of Josh Bell, though, yeah, he used to be our first baseman. And I thought there's no way. Our friend Greg, friend of show, was pissed when we traded Savali and he realized we were tanking and we traded for a first baseman, because he said, what the fuck are we going to do at first base going forward now? Because now this means no extension for Josh Naylor. Josh Bell will be here next year because why the fuck would he turn down his own free money? And then they just traded for Manzardo. So Greg was pissed, and Greg's like, this means they're letting Naylor go. And I said, well, for what it's worth, from what I read on Twitter, everyone was saying the Guardians are going to try to shop Josh Bell. And Greg was like, who the fuck's going to want him? No one's taking that guy. Like, there's no question. And then all of a sudden, I'm just scrolling through Twitter yesterday, and I saw it, and I texted Greg, and I'm like, God damn it, Greg, they did it. They got rid of Josh Bell. And then he was pissed, of course, because they traded Josh Bell for Khalil Watson, shortstop prospect from the Miami Marlins. And another red flag is he was their first round pick in 2021, I believe. So he's only been in the organization for 2 years.
And they wouldn't get rid of him.
He was their first round pick. He's a number 11, like overall prospect in baseball. Pretty high. That's not bad. But they got rid of him.
Yeah.
Don't understand that. However, the one saving grace, Miami is a bad team. Miami has consistently been one of the worst teams in baseball for a long time, that they're known to make bad decisions and they don't have great players. So maybe that's something that the Guardians pulled the wool over their eyes and they got themselves a fucking stud. And maybe we have our next Francisco Lindor. I don't know. However, when you're willing to take on that Josh Bell contract, because the Marlins, I mean, Josh Bell's not making them a playoff contender. That I don't understand why they would do that. We also took on Jean Segura, who we immediately cut, and we'll owe him like $8 million next year. So we took on a really bad contract from them to give them a bad contract in Josh Bell. Don't understand the dynamics.
So our
of
goal
that
in
trade.
this one
I
was
don't get
Khalil
it.
Watson. That's what we wanted.
It was to get Khalil Watson and to get Josh Bell off our payroll.
Yeah. So
was first and foremost, because next year again he was owed like 16 million or 18 million, whatever the fuck, and we're able to get this Jean Segura guy who's only owed 8 million by the Guardians. So we cut it in half. Yeah. So it was a financial move, but
moves from the Guardians. Yeah.
A minor leaguer, but again, another fucking middle infielder. How many of those guys do we need? Shame on the Dolans. Chipper was talking to me the other day, and for some reason, Chipper must not really watch the show because he texted me and said, "You don't really talk that badly about the Guardians like you do about the Browns." And I'm thinking in my head, like, have you ever fucking watched my show? I roasted them all of last year. But it is one of those things where I'm just used to it. The Dolans don't spend money. They will not be buyers at the trade deadline except for 2016. That was the 1 year they went for it. They almost got a World Series out of it, but they're not buyers. They don't spend a lot of money. We're a cheap team, and that's just rinse and repeat. The one thing about baseball is because there's no salary cap, we will never be a big spending team. There's nothing we can do about it. If there were a salary cap and the Guardians continued to stink and it was strictly because of the front office not making good decisions, totally understood. This is just, we're not competing with these high market teams. And that's the other thing Chipper brought up was all these teams. It's like, aren't you sick of your team not spending money? And I took a screenshot and I said, the Mets, the Yankees, the Giants, all these teams are basically done. They're not making the playoffs, and they have some of the highest payrolls in baseball.
Right.
So spending money doesn't always translate to wins, Chipper. Hate to break it to you. And then he said, well, what do the Guardians have to show for it? And I was like, we're like the 10th winningest team in Major League Baseball over the past 10 years.
It's easy for Chipper to talk baseball when the Braves are doing what they do.
That's kind of, I think that's what he was baiting me into. He wanted me to say something because he's a pretend Braves fan because he just woke up one day and decided to just pick a team that, went to the World Series. He probably wasn't a fan of theirs until Chipper Jones and them won a World Series, if I'm being honest. But
yeah, I'm just saying that's anytime they play well, he has a
he wants to get all excited.
Puffy chest moments there for a while. So no one's debating the fact that Atlanta Braves are probably the best baseball team in the league right now.
Let it be known, I will be adamantly rooting against them come playoff time.
Absolutely.
When they lose, you're not going to want to listen to that week's episode, Chipper, when they're eliminated from the playoffs. That's all I can say right now. But no, I'm very critical of the Guardians.
They're a fun team to watch, though. But I mean,
and they're going to be a fun team to watch get fucking eliminated by the Dodgers this year.
So
can't wait.
We agree that they're punting on the season, that they're done. It's just going to be a team to watch. They're going to piece together by some people called up, called down to see what happens.
I mean, it's going to be ugly in the terms of if you look at last night's game, the Guardians got no hit. Literally the day of the trade deadline where they announced Aaron Savali, Josh Bell, they basically said, we're done. We don't believe in this team. The Guardians went out and got no hit. Do you think that happened on accident?
You know what's going to happen though, right? They're going to overperform from what we expect.
Major League.
They're going. Yeah, exactly.
It's the movie Major League. Tito's going to will this team.
They've brought the poster in of
Yep.
the owner of Dolan of him wearing nothing but a Speedo, and they're going to
But it's
peel
the
back.
opposite. It's Dolan is butt naked,
And they're going to put pieces
and you have
on.
to dress
Yes.
him. And the last one you can dress is his little dick.
Yes.
And that's the last one. If you win the
Little
division,
Dick Dolan.
you get to cover up little Dicky Dolan. And we're going to go to the fucking playoffs. We're going to win the division.
With a bunch of unknowns.
With a bunch of guys.
With a bunch of who the fuck is that guy?
With the replacements.
Yes.
So yeah, it's ugly.
Shane Falco's coming out as closer.
We'll see how
feel
these
it.
next 2 weeks go, because again, we just got swept by the Astros.
Well, the Astros are a pretty good team, though.
The Astros are a really good team, and we got swept, and it's not good because that's pushing us back a little bit out of the division race. So we don't want this to continuously trend. And the other thing too that's really unfortunate is statistically, Guardians have the hardest schedule in baseball for this
Yes.
next couple of months.
Perfect time for this trade.
For all these rookies to come up here and just get their fucking their
Dicks
confidence
kicked in.
destroyed. But yeah, the Guardians are sellers. They punted on the season. It's depressing. I feel really bad for the players. I feel extremely bad for Tito Francona because I've said it many times. He's not getting any younger, and he is the greatest manager almost of all time. Like, he's one of the best baseball managers of all time. We have him. We're lucky to have him. And the Dolans aren't doing him any favors and aren't trying to help him win anything here. So it's really unfortunate. It's depressing, honestly. Like, it's just sad what they did. Like, I'm not even like mad about it. I'm more just like, what the fuck? Like, that's depressing.
Yeah.
And then the Dolans are going to cry poor, and they're going to wonder why nobody comes to the games for the second half of the season. Because I know for me personally, unless I get free tickets, that stadium can go fuck itself. I'm not going. I'm not spending
The
money
last
on
game
that
I
team.
went to, honestly, was I watched 3 innings of the game.
Yeah.
I went there for Dollar Dog Night for the cheap beers before the game started.
Yep.
Had a couple hot dogs. I stood in the left corner where the bar was at, watched maybe 2 or 3 innings of the game, and would socialize more than anything.
Yeah.
And then left. So like, I mean, I wasn't like participating in the actual game because I didn't give a shit.
I get my money's worth when I go to games. I'll stay for the whole thing. I want to watch it all, unless like it's a blowout or something like that. Sure, but I won't go to any games this year. I will not support the Dolans. I talk about it all the time about how cheap they are and how they don't deserve our money and how they need to sell. And I am standing. I'm holding to that, and I want them to get rid of the team, to sell the team, I should say, because it's ridiculous what they're doing to the fans. We have a team that's this close to the division in a bad division, albeit I'm the first to admit they would stand, I don't think, any chance in the playoffs against any of these competitive teams. There's no way the Guardians would advance to anything. We're not winning a World Series. I get that. But to just give up on this young team is disrespectful. It's a slap in the face of the players. How do you look them in the eye and say, oh no, we believe in you? Like,
And you have to imagine the rest of the teams in this division are going to get better next year, the year after that.
I mean,
Minnesota's always been kind of.
Minnesota's always been a relatively
Detroit's
good
been
team.
bad for way too long. They have to be getting better at some
Detroit
point.
was supposed to be good starting last year. They have a nice
Right.
little farm system that everybody thought was going to start putting it together. Same thing with the Royals. Royals are bad, but they're starting to get some young
Right.
talent. Bobby Witt Jr., they're starting to get some guys. They just haven't put it together yet. Eventually it's going to click.
Our time to capitalize has been the last 2 years.
And
3
the
years.
Guardians said, no, we're good.
Yeah, it's
It's a shame. I feel bad. I especially bad for Tito Francona, Shane Bieber, and Jose Ramirez. I feel bad for those guys.
If they don't do well next year, you need to consider trading Jose Ramirez.
100%. It'd be doing him a favor.
Yes, get him out of town, get something
Put
in
him on a
return,
team so he can actually win.
bring in some more shortstops and second basemen. So let's just keep doing. what we do.
Convert a shortstop to third base because God knows we have plenty.
Yes,
So there's plenty of options. We'll talk more about the Guardians in a couple of weeks. We'll see where they stand in the rankings and in the standings after a few weeks. But for now, we have reached the end of the show. It is time for everyone's favorite segment. That is, of course,
Tim's tip.
just the tip.
I felt Tim's tip when he's giving me the hug earlier, by the way.
I thought that's what that was. It was either that or his elbow. It was hard as shit. I loved it.
Yeah, it was it was mushrooming. But y'all know what type of tip I got this.
I got a hunch.
It's comedy.
Comedy related?
It is.
No, I didn't see that coming.
It is. But this one I am headlining.
Hey,
Hell yeah.
This is at Saucy Brew Works again. What up, Ebony?
Ebony, what's up? You guys did great yesterday. I loved watching Grape's new show. He's got a new platform. I love the look of it.
I ain't get a chance to see it yet, but I will watch it. I'll be doing my show one.
I had to watch it afterwards. I was talking to Grape earlier today. I was like, dude, your show was awesome. Like, I couldn't watch it live, but I watched it.
But I'm gonna be at Saucy Brew Works, the one in Pinecrest, guys.
Yes, preface that.
The one in Pinecrest. It's Pints and Punchlines. It's also an open mic after the show. It's featuring Tsunami, that's with the little T, Church Boy, and my Bristol Key Silly. hosted by CC Bullock. Of course, our wonderful host of What's Up in the 216 here on Wednesdays. But this is August 14th. It's a Monday night from 7 to 9. They got BOGO Pizza night, so it's gonna be amazing. And it's agitated in August, so I'm coming angry. So everything that has bothered me within the last year or so, you will hear.
You're going to be like Kyle when he walked in the door today.
Basically,
Hot-headed and need some hugs.
And this is actually going to be a tough set for me because comedy actually makes me happy.
It's hard to be pissed off.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I'm gonna be pissed but happy at the same time. So,
a side note, I don't know Tsunami. She seems wonderful, but that picture just makes me think that she's like an Undertaker cosplayer, and I love it. I mean that in the best way possible. I don't mean that as like a negative. She just looks like you got the purple, you got the hat. Like, I just see the Undertaker. It's a awesome.
Great photo.
It is. It's really well done.
All these headshots are amazing. That's the reason why I didn't cover mine up. This is right.
Good.
I think this is going to be a great show. Come on out. It's a free show too, so you don't have to pay for anything to get in. But buy pizza.
It's buy one, get one free pizza. You can't beat that price. And Saucy makes some good pizza.
It's pretty good pizza. I actually liked it a lot. So come on out, y'all. Waiting on y'all.
I like it.
Check it out.
I do see the Undertaker thing now.
Absolutely.
Don't you? Yeah, it's great. That's awesome though.
I saw the boobs first, and then I saw the Undertaker thing. So
I went up.
Yeah,
started down, went up.
It's normally where my eyes go to. So, my tip is: has you guys ever played Twisted Metal when you were younger on the PlayStation?
I used to play the demos. I never played the actual game.
So, for the life of me, I completely forgot or didn't even notice that they came out with a TV series on Peacock. But Twisted Metal, it is not what I expected, and it's so much better than I thought it would be. It's a comedy. It literally is a comedy. So
I've heard nothing but good things.
It's based on the video game. Obviously, all the characters in the video game have shown up. Most have shown up in this first season. It is 30 minute episodes. I think there's 11 or 12 of them. But it is, I'm halfway through it. I haven't finished it yet, but you can easily power watch them pretty quickly. Anthony Mackie, Stephanie Beatrice. I think she's from the
Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Classic. She's a big Cleveland sports fan, FYI.
Really?
Nine.
Yep. Samoa Joe plays Sweet Tooth. He does not voice Sweet Tooth. Will Arnett's voices Sweet Tooth. So it's fucking hilarious. Like the second episode of the season.
The little laughter.
Yeah, the second episode of the season, it's a lot of Sweet Tooth oriented stuff, but he's fucking hilarious.
Okay.
But it's worth watching. If you've played the video game, it has a good storyline to it so far. A lot of good one-liners. So give it a chance. It's on Peacock. You can stream the entire first season on there if you want to. But like I said, I was pleasantly surprised, and it does have some dark humor in it and stuff. It's worth watching.
No, I definitely want to check it out. I personally, I knew it was coming out. I thought it was a movie.
Yeah.
So when I saw that it released, I was like, oh, fuck yeah. It was last week. I'm like, yeah, we have nothing to do on Friday night. Like, we'll watch Twisted Metal. And then I click and I'm like, episode 1? Like, what the fuck do you mean episode 1? I thought it was a movie.
It's a series.
No, I definitely want to check it out for sure.
The actors have gotten to play the characters in the game. Great choices so far.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Sweet Tooth character, who's one of the main characters, obviously, of the video game. Excellent acting by Samoa Joe. The voiceover for Will Arnett. Like, I find myself laughing my ass off. Episode 2, that's like his intro one. You will laugh your ass off.
I'm really excited. We're going to be starting that very soon for sure. In the meantime, I've been reading a lot, and a book my father-in-law gave me once I had my newfound love of Elvis.
Oh, that's where it came from. Was your father-in-law? I'm like, why the fuck are you want?
He loved Bill O'Reilly.
Bill O'Reilly books. It's weird.
He actually gave me the other. I think it was Killing Lincoln. He let me borrow before I read that one. He's a big Bill O'Reilly reader. Mm-hmm. But so he gave me Killing the Legends by Bill O'Reilly. And that is, which camera? This one? Yeah, there we go.
We need a light above it, like to say, look here.
Because Tim moved them, so I wasn't sure which one we were going with.
Like, look here.
Because I don't think we've done like the individual cameras much today, so I haven't like paid attention.
I haven't because of how we are.
No, completely understood. That's why it caught me off guard. I didn't know where to look. But yeah, Killing the Legends, it's about John Lennon, Elvis, and Muhammad Ali. Basically goes into a little bit of detail of their rise and then their fall. And the Elvis stuff, I knew just about all of it. There was nothing really too surprising in that. It was basically about how he was fucked over by Colonel Parker and not forced, but he did a bunch of drugs to stay awake. And because he was Elvis, he was catered to. Everybody let him do whatever he wanted. So he just did not take care of himself. Drugs, women, everything. Spent money like crazy. And it just kind of goes into that detail about how his life was super great and then just fucking went right down the toilet. But again, I knew just about all of it. So it was still really cool to get a quick read because I've been reading an Elvis biography now for months. It's like 700 pages long. It's huge. And I won't lie to you, it's very fucking boring. I haven't even gotten to like where he's super famous yet. That's how hard it is to read.
Jesus, they focus that much in his young
I'm like
years?
300 pages in, and it's still about like his country career, and like the book just name drops. So it's always like, oh, you know, Carl Smith and the Outlaws and this guy, and like people I've never fucking heard of, and it just name drops all these different artists and DJs from like the 50s, and I'm like,
shit about the Cliff
dude,
Note
I don't
version.
fucking care. Well, I saw the movie, so I thought it would be kind of like that, but it spends, again, I'm 300 pages into the book, and I still haven't even gotten to where like he's super famous yet and like rich. It's still like he's waiting to sign a big contract.
Really?
Crazy how fucking slow this book is. But I digress. This book goes into everything really quickly, goes into the detail of how Colonel Parker fucked him over, the lawsuits that followed after Elvis's death, where they realized Colonel Parker was ripping him off. And then it goes into John Lennon, who he didn't really get screwed over by anybody. He was just a fucking kook. The Beatles were huge. He met Yoko Ono. He became a heroin addict, and he threw everything away with the fucking Beatles. And it just kind of shows you how like his behavior ruined the Beatles with Yoko Ono. Personally, I don't care about the Beatles.
They blame her for the
Yoko is the Beatles killer. Everybody
Yeah.
in the world thinks she 100% ruined them, which, based on what I read in this book, pretty accurate. But I didn't really care about that section. Again,
Sure.
I'm not a Beatles fan. I've never liked them. I don't understand the love for their music. So reading about this was like, whatever. I knew he gets shot at the end, so I just kind of went through it. And then Muhammad Ali, his section was fucking great. There was a lot about Muhammad Ali that I did not know. I remember when we were on 4th and 15, and he had, I forgot his name, apologies, but they had their friend on we were trying to go over the boxers. And I think I had mentioned like Muhammad Ali is one of the greatest of all time. And I think he was like, no, he's not, because he lost to this guy, lost to that guy. Reading this book explains why Muhammad Ali lost a bunch of fights. And it was because he was being taken advantage of and had serious medical issues that his people, his management team, would not let him get fixed. They're like, doctors are telling Muhammad Ali, do not fight. Like,
Really?
you should not be fighting. You're risking your health. Your legs are like fucked up. You have blood clots. And his guy's like, he's got to fight in 5 weeks. He's got to train. And they were forcing him to go out there because the money was so good. And then even when he was like shaky and they knew that there was something fucked up with neurologically because of all the punches, they were like, let's find you a doctor that's going to clear you. And he'd get cleared, and your fight's next week.
Jesus.
So
So,
they-
it almost makes you look at that old fight he had with Frazier back in his older years as a little more respectable.
Read this book if you get the chance. It's great. I'll bring it in next time I see you.
Yeah, I don't have that one. I have a lot of the Killing series. I don't have that one.
Okay,
yet,
I'll bring
so-
that in for you.
yeah,
It's
I'll read
really
it.
good. You learn a lot. And then for me, I've never actually seen it. I'm like kind of embarrassed to admit that. I've never seen Ali with Will Smith.
What?
Never seen it.
It's a great movie.
I just
It doesn't go into detail you're talking about really, but it really
Right.
focuses around the Frazier, the it talks about a lot of those.
so if you read this
rivalries
book,
and
it goes
stuff,
into
but
a
yeah.
lot of detail about how like he was getting fucked over by the people he trusted when he became a Muslim,
Yeah,
and he
it
joined
does touch on that. In the
he
movie.
joined the Nation of Islam and all these people that represented him, and they were ripping him off, and they were stealing money from him, and they were like embezzling and shit like that. And then he would go broke because they would fuck him over. So they'd be like, well, you're broke. You can fight again, even though his doctor said no. And they're like, get you a $5 million payday. And he's like, all right, I'll fight this guy.
Yeah.
And then they would just set him up fights like 2 months after each other, where
Which is
normal
crazy.
boxers
Nowadays, it's like a year.
You're lucky to get 2 fights in a year.
Yeah.
And then they're like, Muhammad Ali, his doctors told him, you need to be on bed rest. You need to do this. And they're like, and the next day he had to go start training for his next fight. And they just fucking ruined the guy. And it's a shame. Really, really good book, though.
If you get a chance, read more of the Killing series. So you said Lincoln, I read that one. Great.
Yep.
The Killing Kennedy one
Did not read that one. Is there
that-
one with George Washington on the
Yep.
cover?
So I'm reading that one now. Actually, Killing England.
I think I read that one too. So I think I've read Killing
It's-
Lincoln, Killing England, and now Killing the Legends.
So read the Killing the Kennedy one, which is really good. Killing the SS.
Yeah.
is another great
I
one
think you talked about that
because
one
it
before.
talks about hunting down the SS and stuff.
I'll definitely check it out.
so
And
yeah.
let me know when he writes Killing Nick Gilbert. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this week's Talking About Balls. On behalf of everybody at Talking About Balls, beware the stare of Mary Shaw. She had no children, only dolls. And if you see her in your dreams, be sure to never, ever scream. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks.